What's up, y'all? What is up? What is up? I haven't been live for a while. I do have Matt coming in. I just sent the invite. Just bear with me. Let me just I got 3 people watching already. Let me just send out the link. Sorry, y'all. Like I went to work and it's always something. Uh, so I'm just sending out the link, making sure that everything is good because it's been a while. So, okay, been a while. So. It's picking me up on. You see, that's just why I do it like this because it's picking me up on the. I did order some new gear, and that'll be coming to. My gosh. I know I feel like I'm all over the place. What's up, that Liberty chick? Hey, Cindy. Okay, let me see. Let me just make sure it's working. Bear with me. Like when you do stuff like when it's a work day, it's sometimes not a good idea. Okay, let me just make sure I sound right. Stuff like when it's okay, that's better. That's better. So I got some new gear and everything. So that'll be coming soon, guys. So yes, this is my celebratory live. Guess what, y'all? I am monetized. I'm monetized like for super chats and like super stickers and stuff like that. If people want to, if they want to send that, they can. You don't have to, but it's just exciting because like it's another level in my YouTube journey that I've reached. I want to thank Justin definitely for helping me with that. And so, there's more to come. So it's just like really exciting. And so tonight we're just going to talk just about a bunch of rando stuff. I'm going to try not to. Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. Can you tell? Like, it's kind of still like, I feel like it's a lot of hair, but we're going to get into it. So tonight we're going to just talk about rando stuff, like try to make it fun, easygoing, and everything else. Let me just send the link a little bit one more time. The link. Sorry, y'all. I feel like I'm not prepared, but it's been so long. But just bear with me. I'm going to get back at it. And I got these bracelets too. I got them from Amazon, right? They're like supposed to be from India. I don't think they're really from India though. But they're really, I like them. They were only like $15 for like a whole pack. So, oh my God, I don't see Matt coming yet, but let me send all right. Let me just post the link on Twitter, and then I promise y'all are gonna have my full undivided attention. Let me just say I'm live now. I can't help it. I hate when you know why? Because one of my like best friends, like he said to me, he's like, Casey, when you go live, you have to be ready to start. You can't be doing all this stuff, sending links, da da da. And I'm like, I know, but like, it's been a while. I'm live now on YouTube. Link in last post. All right. Let me just add the link in comment. Oy vey. Because I see people are coming in, and I'm happy to see that. So that's why I like holding people up. It's been quite the week. Not a crazy bad week or anything, but it's been a week. This stuff in the news. What's new. Hey. Okay, so all right. Anyway, it's not showing me my post, like, so I could put the link in the daggone comment. Like, that is so annoying. Oh my God, Matt's still not here. Where is Matt? All right. All right, we good. We good. We are here. So yeah, it's been a bit of it's been like a week, right? It hasn't been too crazy of a week, but it's been enough of a week where we have stuff that we could talk about. But like I said, it's Friday night, so we're not gonna get too crazy serious. So yeah, I just went to post my link in X. So, but we are gonna use X too as for me to like share things with you guys. stuff that's been going on. Um, I've been posting on this channel, so I've been posting a lot of stuff on this channel. Definitely about like Daily Wire situation. I've been posting stuff about transgender things that are still happening. They're still going on in this country. We're still telling kids that they can be both genders at the same time. I work at a psych facility. I have a lot of kids coming in who are hearing voices, who are cutting themselves. And why are they doing that? Well, they're also on estrogen, but they're boys, and they're getting estrogen injections and stuff like that. And it's like, why are we giving boys estrogen injections? But to make them girls, they're not going to be girls. It's a delusion. And so we're not allowed to discuss that. So it's like, okay, you're hearing voices, but we have to pretend that the biggest thing in your life that you're doing that is so detrimental to your mental health, both from the delusion in as a root cause, and secondly, from the medication that you should not be taking, we can't talk about that. So what are we doing here, right? What are we doing? It's criminal. It's really criminal. So that's what's been going on. I've been working a lot, and I'm back in psych, seeing all this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of broken souls in psych. It really is. So, but like I said, tonight we're just gonna have fun. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm not using StreamYard as much because it lags, but oh my God, Matt is here. Thank you, God. And then he can take over. What's up, Cult Classic Cage? Oh my gosh, it's a party. So I'm like, oh my God, Matt is here. He can take. He's laughing at me. Hold on. He just added Matt. What is?
What's up, Casey? How's it going?
I'm good. I'm good. I miss you.
Yeah, it's been a while. How you been?
Yeah. What you been up to? Tell the peeps what you've been up to.
Oh, just staying busy, holidays and all that. Watching movies. There's been a lot of good movies out, which is kind of rare, so that's always been fun. Definitely recommend Godzilla if you haven't seen that.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Thanksgiving was a good one, a good horror movie. But yeah, just staying busy, just trying to, enjoy what's going on, get ready for the holidays. Christmas is in full, force. So,
Right.
What's up, Cult?
Right.
Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, Christmas is already here. So, like, are you done Christmas shopping?
Almost. I'm usually like the last second Christmas shopper. That's normally what I used to do. Like every year, I would get it like literally days before. But I'm like, I can't do that anymore because it was such a headache. So now I'm a little bit ahead of the game, and I have most of it done. I just a couple other things I still need to pick up, but yeah, I'm trying to get it, now rather than later because with shipping and all that other stuff, I don't want to go shopping. If I could order it offline, I want to do that. So
absolutely, that is the way. Yes, because like even for me, I'm like it's probably going to be mostly a gift card Christmas, and
yeah,
that's okay, because it's a lot like trying to get just everything done, and it's already it's already the end of 2023, like
I know. It's insane, and this 2024 is going to be nuts. Oh, it's going to be so insane. It's going to be. Oh, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not at the same time. It's like I'm curious as to what's going to happen, but also I feel like it's just been that like downward slide. So who knows?
I feel like I feel like I'm definitely looking forward to it because I have this weird immature way of like this gallows humor of laughing at things that are inappropriate. So I'm just like,
oh yeah,
just bring it.
That's the only way to stay sane. You just gotta laugh at it all, otherwise you go crazy.
Right, like let's just go ahead and meme the World War III that you guys are gonna put us in.
Might as well,
Or the next riot. Who's the next guy who's gonna be underneath a knee or something, or whatever you need to do to stop elections or whatever it is you need to do. Let's just
did you see that one I think he's the guy that got elected from Argentina where everyone's like praising him?
No, we're gonna talk about him.
Yeah. All right. I'll save it then. I'll save it.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he's like the first story. You know what? We're about to get into that because everybody was so hyped.
Yep.
We're about to get into that. So
I'm glad you saw that because I saw it the other day and I was like, typical.
Yes. Like the whole thing. Like, so let me see. Let me share the screen. because I had like let me see something. This StreamYard, let me tell you, first of all, I can't stand it. It's actually acting right today. Hello, Janet. Jay, oh my gosh, hello. It's actually acting right today, but like for real though, I can't stand it because
StreamYard, yeah, it's hit or miss sometimes. It's been giving me issues, and I've been trying to look into some alternatives, but I'm like, I look at the
yeah,
other
with
ones, and I'm
streaming,
like,
it's hard to it's hard to like I don't know what else to use for streaming, like as in like doing what we're doing, going live or whatever.
mm-hmm.
But so I don't know, but
There's a
hold
couple
on.
other options that I've seen, but I feel like as annoying as StreamYard is, it is seems to be the most streamlined and easiest. Then and most people tend to use it just because of, I guess, comfortability and again ease of access. Some of the other
Right.
ones are a little bit clunky on like the user end, especially, and you know this, when you're trying to talk to chat, talk to guests, and then host the show at the same time. So not only are you talking and doing everything, but you're also producing. It's a lot to manage. So
It is.
as annoying as StreamYard is, they do make it a little simple or
Right.
simpler rather when you're doing it all in the
Right.
background. So
But I like Streamlabs though for like just recording a video because Justin
oh
actually
yeah,
taught me how to use that and it was really really good. But it's already like it's lagging and I can see it lagging on the YouTube, but it's not that we're gonna watch a video. If I need to show a video, I might have to ask you to do it. It
yeah,
might be better on your screen, but
no
yeah.
problem.
So yeah, this guy Malay. So y'all, all right, y'all. So this guy and Young America Foundation, which is probably a Zionist organization, but anyway, they are so excited. They're like Argentina's, libertarian president-elect Javier Milei quotes Milton Friedman: "A society that puts equality before freedom will get neither. A society that puts freedom before equality will get a high degree of both." So this guy is now the president of Argentina. He was elected, and I remember seeing clips of him when he was running, and he was saying some of the base things like I'm going to get rid of these agencies, and he was like saying, F the radical left and all kinds of like,
Screw the
all
World Bank.
yeah,
Yep.
yes, the whole bit. And I would see these clips, and then he was like, "Oh, I love Trump," everything, right? The words to say to make a person, the conservatives or whatever, whoever you're trying to get to be like, "Oh my gosh, you're so amazing," So this is Argentina. So when I saw that he was talking like this, I was like, "Oh, okay," but I didn't care enough to get that much invested because it's not America. Like whoever they elect really doesn't affect me. But conservatives they were loving this guy. This guy gets elected, and already he's backing up on the
Flipping
stuff.
the switch. Yep.
Yeah, populism updates. And this is where I got this from. But if you have another clip that's like, or like if you have like another tweet, maybe that's better. You can,
I'll try to find something.
yeah. And so it says Malay just made a U-turn in Argentina. Says he now wants to keep the Ministry of Health. After all, instead of folding it under the Ministry of Human Capital. First of all, folding it under the Ministry of Human Capital would have never even been getting rid of the Ministry of Health, right? So his idea, I guess, was to get rid of all these little agencies, like how we have in America. But if you're going to get rid of it, why would you put it in something else anyway? So that's really not getting rid of it. But now he's just not even getting rid of it. He's already folding. In fact, Argentina was set to join BRICS. The whole Russia, Russia, India, China, like the one, like the cool kids club. That's what I call it now, because these people are coming together, and Saudi Arabia, Iran, everybody's involved. And then he backtracked them and said that they're going to align with America.
Mm-hmm.
What, as much as I love my country in the sense of the citizens and and all of this, what does America have to offer anymore? We are killing ourselves. We're destroying ourselves on the world stage for sure. We're de-dollarizing. We're inflated up to the wazoo. Our dollar has pretty much no value. $200 of groceries only gets you 2 bags of food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so our dollar is not anything to be like, I'm going to attach myself to that if you really care about your country, right? He did exactly what I expected anyway. Once I see people are too hype about somebody, I'm like, I don't trust the person. And then I'm going to add my little flair to it because I don't care. I say what I want on my channel. And I'm not going to go too far. But when I heard him say, I'm going to convert to Judaism, I was like, okay, he's a Zionist. Because why are you doing like why is that a priority to do right now? And he was waving the Israeli flag in his own country. And I'm like, this guy's already. So there you go. Go ahead, though. You can add your piece.
No, yeah, there was that famous video where they had all these little groups, remember? And it was like on a board, and it said like, like you said, so whatever of health, and he's like, he ripped it off, gone.
Yeah.
Whatever of something equity, ripped it off, gone. He kept going down the list, right? And yeah, now he's 100% backtracking on everything because at the end of the day, in reality, a lot of these people are just they're put in power specifically, right? Like Trump was an accident. Trump, they had no they had no clue that he was going to win.
Yeah.
They thought they had it in the bag. They thought they had all the safety measures. They did not expect as many voters to come out as much as they did, and they couldn't account for it at the time. That's why during, if you remember the first election and that delay, he's like, I don't know what the delay is, but, we should have won, but we're just waiting. He knew then that they were trying everything they could to finagle the numbers, and they were not prepared. So Argentina, all these countries, these people are put in place. These people, or if they are put in by accident, as they've said before, there's people that show up and sit down and say, this is what you're going to say, and this is what you're going to do.
Yep.
It's just the reality of it. So that's why, again, just like you, I don't believe, like, I don't care. Yeah, they sound great, but at the end of the day, it's all talking heads and it's all nonsense. I want to see somebody with action because, yeah, he's backtracking on bricks, and I don't think it's a negative thing at all. I mean, if anyone that has any common sense or knowledge of like the economy, right? Our current currency is based off of nothing. It's all paper. It's all fake money. That's what it's not based off of a gold standard anymore. Whereas my understanding is that BRICS is supposed to be based off of a gold standard of some kind, or the ruble, or whatever the case. So they're trying to build their own economy. I think we need to go back to the gold standard, but that's a different story, a different conversation. But yeah, so I mean, again, this guy, they did the same thing with the new leader of Poland. I don't know if you know about him. Yeah, like Poland was very much about like very nationalist country, like very pro-Polish. Like, we don't want refugees. We don't want to turn into the EU. They voted in their new president, and now all of a sudden he's open to taking refugees. And it's again, this is all political theater, and everyone is being put in positions of power intentionally. It's not like it's random. And that's why I have such a hard time with the upcoming election, and everyone's talking about Trump, and I'm like, they didn't let him last time, so what do you do now? Like, do you think we're going to vote our way into this? I don't think so.
So, like I said, I've said this before, because somebody asked me this question before on this channel, and they were like, well, what is going to be different from the last time? Like, what if they do the same thing they do the last time? So I was like, this is why, and Trump said it too. He was like, the numbers have to be so unanimous, which they can be. They have the potential to be, but they have to be so unanimous that if any funny stuff happens this time, like the whole country would be like, wait a second, you know what I mean? Like, even I voted for this guy. Now, the reason why I believe that's a possibility is because people are so broke,
Yeah.
People they're finally feeling it. You know how I know, and this is totally anecdotal, but where I work, like when I'm talking to Black folk, back not too long ago, if I would have even sneezed, didn't sound like Trump, they would have been racist. But now they want to talk about him like, well, I mean, yeah, he wasn't really that bad. I'm like, yeah, I can tell you want to talk about him now, because one thing you do know is, even however you felt about him, when you went to the market around that time and spent $200, you needed your kids to come help you to, bring the groceries in.
Yep.
Now you're wondering about, now you're going to the grocery 200. I'm literally being serious, Matt, when I tell you I can spend $200 in the market and have like two bags and then maybe like a thing of bounty paper. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to make two trips. And I'm not overspending. It's just really the stuff that you need is double the price from like 2 years ago, you
Oh,
know?
go and buy like I'm like mainly like a carnivore based diet, some carbs here and there every now and then. So go buy ribeyes and steaks. You you're not walking out of there with two bags. I'll tell you that right now, and you're already over $200 because meat's just so high off. I mean, it's insane. It's
Yes.
nuts. It's crazy. So,
Yes.
and you make a valid point that yes, and then that's why I think the Democratic Party, well, I know, has completely ditched the black vote. They don't care
Yeah.
about the black vote anymore because they know
Yeah.
they lost it. They know that
Yeah.
it's now impacting the black vote of what's going on. So they've completely ditched the black vote, and now it's all about the open border because that's how you can account for all these potential false
Yeah.
votes.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have like the U.S. Census Bureau, right? Well, if you don't know how many migrants are coming in, then you don't know how many people to account for when it comes to voting in a certain district, right? And they're
Hmm.
shipping them all over the country. It's no longer just going to Texas. They're shipping them everywhere. So
Yeah. Like,
now that's what they're gonna lean on, and that will be the argument. And I think Janet has a good point. Are you concerned about the legal
I
issues?
was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You tell me your thoughts first before I chime in there.
Um, hey, Vay,
Yeah, I
the
know.
way, yeah, like, because then, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to tell you, the past 2 months have opened me up to thinking about possibilities that I probably never thought about before because, doing a lot of research and finding out things that in history that they didn't tell you makes me just like, okay, so there's a third government, you could say, in this situation. And there's been a third government for a long time. You know what I mean? Or second shadow. There really is a shadow government, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for a long time. And they've been around for the longest, and people aren't even ready to open their eyes to that. But so that's what makes me kind of nervous because I do get scared that they'll put him in jail. I didn't before, but because I know that people will just vote against him simply because, like, oh, it's Trump. We don't like Trump. So maybe you get a jury to just vote, put him in jail. But like from what I'm hearing in the Constitution is that somebody still could run for president while in jail. And I mean, maybe that would be his biggest like campaign, like ad if you think about it, because it's like, I mean, do y'all really want to put Trump in jail? Because if y'all do, it's just really going to show a lot of people that he was right about what you guys were saying all along. Like it does wake up mostly men. It'll wake up a lot of men to be like, okay, why is this man in jail? So I don't know. But then like at the same time, I don't know. I don't think he did anything wrong. Let me be very clear. I think he's
Oh,
yeah, because I go on DeSantis spaces and they want to argue me up and down like Trump did it, he had classified documents, and I'm like, how does it make sense that a president has classified documents and you're telling me and they weren't classified and he was showing them to people? And I'm like, if they're in his hand, they're declassified. There's no ceremony to declassify documents. They're in his hand. He can make an executive decision to show them to people. I was like, maybe he was probably showing people an article or something, but it doesn't matter. And then the whole thing, and they're like, well, they asked him for the documents and he didn't give them back right away, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are y'all serious? Like, y'all, because they know that's the only way DeSantis is going to have a chance is if Trump goes to jail, right?
mm-hmm.
So can you imagine a bunch of people call themselves conservative Republicans? They're like, well, if Trump goes to jail, he's going to jail. I'm like, am I speaking to leftists? That's insane,
Well, before
But
we continue, did you see
uh-huh.
this?
Yeah, I was gonna call it out. I
Okay.
wasn't
All
call
right.
out
Good.
the person. Yeah. So yeah. So it's like I think they will now. But I don't know if they're really ready for that riot. That it would. I think people would finally say, people are hungry. They're tired. I was on a space today, and this one woman was like, "I'm sick of it." It was a couple people who were like, "I'm over it. I'm over being nice. I'm over it. I'm tired. It's been all." It's been 3 years, you could say, or two, going on 3 years of conservatives, especially white Christian conservatives, being told that they are the villain of the world, okay? And then also a Republican Party that refuses to do anything, like anything. And so now we're coming to the end of Biden's term, and what have they done? So of course, people are getting tired. So I don't know if they want to poke that bear. I don't know. So I don't know. But either way, for me, if he does go to prison and he campaigns from jail, I'm still voting for him. I think that it would break me at that point where I would be like, yo, F all of y'all. Like, I don't know. I'm not voting for nobody else, but like, I don't know. Like, how can I trust a system and go vote for somebody else if Trump is sitting in jail? It just is not, it doesn't feel right to me. Now, at this point, I'm really going to feel like there's some sort of war happening here that I don't know about. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think with legal action, and when she first said legal issues, when Janet mentioned that, I thought honestly she was talking about. I completely forgot he's even being charged with the crimes. I was talking about or thinking about the legal battle when it comes to contesting a what do you call voting and whatnot. So because remember you have that's a whole nother open can of worms. But when it comes to his own legal issues, yeah, I agree. I think they're going to do everything they can. I don't think they're going to. I know this sounds crazy, and it's very. A lot of people have mentioned this as well. I don't think they're going to actually lock him up. I think, if anything, it's going to be worse than that. And I don't want to say what that is. I think there's only one option that they.
Well, we know what the worst.
Yes, we know what the other worst option. And I know that's crazy, and that's sad. But I mean, think about it. Like, all right, so they put him in. So say he does go to jail, right? Say he goes to prison. Then what? Do we really think is there, even if he does go to jail and you're still able to vote, at that point people have to understand you're not voting does not officially matter anymore. And voting hasn't mattered for a very long time, as we've already established previously that Trump was already voted in accidentally anyway, because they just didn't account for as many votes as he got. Everyone else before that, it's all chosen. They know exactly who they want, and that's what's opened our eyes to all this stuff. So
I think everybody after JFK,
broken.
I think everybody after JFK has really been pretty much chosen. That
was the big turning point, I think, as well.
Yeah, after the whole JFK situation, both and an RFK, like. It's just crazy. Let me just call out this. Okay, so y'all, yay, super chat celebration starts. Thank you, Shaloyd and Mercy, for coming through with the $4.99. Yes, this is my first ever super chat. Let's record this time, December the 8th, 9:33 p.m. I got a super chat. Oh my gosh.
Congratulations. Y'all. Very long overdue and deserved.
Thank you. I'm so hyped. I'm about to tell a story. Like, when I first started this YouTube, I didn't think I was going to be a YouTuber. No, for real. That was never my plan, but I do call myself a YouTuber now. I'm like a little hype. Like, I'm more than a little hype. Like, I'm geeking. Can you tell? Like, I'm just like, okay.
Many more to come.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, rain on me like y'all do Tim Pool. Y'all, it's like, oh, shoot. And then Janet asks, who should his running mate be? And people are thinking Ben Carson. I'm like, no, please don't do Ben Carson. Not that I think Ben Carson is a bad choice. I think Ben Carson is a very smart man who's already worked on the Trump administration. He is not deep state. He's not, I think that he's very loyal. I think he should still be in the administration. I'd really rather see a Trump Rand Paul. I've been wanting to see that for a while.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
That one, or who ran for California governor and lost?
Who was that? Larry Elder.
Elder, isn't he? Is he all right? I don't really know much. I mean, I know
Nah,
some of
he's a
him.
little
Or
too cringy. That is just not gonna work. It's not gonna.
is
He's a
he?
very smart man too, but he's a little cringy.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know much about him. I know I've heard some things. And I was like, he sounds okay, but I don't know what his take on obviously the Israel and all that stuff is. So I don't know if he's like a
I
Zionist
would have
type.
to look and see. And that it's funny that you bring it up, and I'm gonna bring that up to Nos. What's up, what he wants to what is up, Nos? Oh, everybody's coming through to the party. Yes, we are at the super chat celebration party. So let me just see what Billy's saying real quick. Your anecdote, Casey, you remind me of my grandmother who had no economic training but a ton of common sense. Oh, thank you. And she knew what was happening when LJB took silver out of circulation in 1965. Yeah. See, more things that were happening to put us in a system, a system of fake money, that we're answering to
Mm-hmm.
now. Um, yeah, so there was something else I was going to say about the Israel thing. I think a lot of people, a lot of MAGA, people who call themselves MAGA, they don't know Trump's foreign policy. Like they think they know, but they really don't know. One thing I'll say about Trump is he says a lot of things. He says what he needs to say to win,
Yeah.
but but when he gets in there, he's the only one who's still alive that has stood up to Israel to the point where Benjamin Netanyahu complained about him
Mm-hmm.
and said that he was like, because Trump said he said that Palestinian situation, he was like, he wanted to fix it because his ego, he was like, that's the best deal. Like I'm the art of the deal guy. So I need to be able to get this done. I can
Yep.
do it. And he is right. And so he said, but when I was talking to Abbas about, like the options and stuff, he was down. He wanted to talk and everything. He was like, Netanyahu really gave me a lot of pushback. And then he was like, I realized that he wasn't really into it. And that's what he's like. And he even said, like in this article, or, I think it was like an interview or something. And he was like, I feel bad. He said, I feel bad because I should have gave Abbas more of my time. Like I should have really listened to him more. He even tried to hold back money from Israel. Like he was like, I'm gonna hold the aid if y'all don't sit down and figure this thing out. And the people, whoever they are, came to him and said, no, you can't hold back aid from Israel. Like you can do it with anybody else, but you can't do it with Israel. I'm like, damn. But the fact that Trump even tried to do something like that.
Isn't that crazy though? Isn't that crazy that the president of the United States can't?
The
Like, there's
commander-in-chief.
people telling him, no, you can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
why? Get
And
rid
who
of
are the
them.
people? Yeah.
Like that's,
Isn't it? Yeah. And so it just, to me, makes me really see everything for what it is when we say, like, oh, they don't want Trump. And I'm not, like, let's get the disclaimers out of the way. like, I'm not talking about Jewish people. Okay.
yes. Yeah,
All
I
right.
know.
This
You
is
always
a
have to
whole
like
different.
make it very kindergarten-esque,
Yeah.
you know?
But this is a whole different ideology that we're talking about. This ideology, you don't have to be Jewish for it. There are like, Lyndon Johnson, LBJ.
Mm-hmm.
He was one. He definitely was involved in that. Obama, okay, he started wars for that area. So it's
Oh, it's
like,
been that way since the end of World War II. I mean,
yeah.
that's just been that way for a very long time.
And there's just, you could just see now how the show is running. I mean, APAC is a real thing, guys. Okay. So we can say that and it's okay. Let's get it out of our system. You're not anti-STEM just because you don't want
Yeah.
an APAC lobby. This is the stuff that I'm trying to decouple. I've been called names for it, but
That is what
America
it
first
is.
is America first. So
Well, yeah, and that's what's crazy. The people that claim to be like literally America first does not mean any other country is also no. It's our country. I'm not saying that we need to go full on isolationist,
right.
like prior to World War II World War II. But I mean, I think we've done it. We really have to scale back and start worrying about ourselves. We worry about everything else all over the globe. And at this point, we are a sinking ship. And I
Absolutely.
mean, again, a lot of it, if anyone who's awake and knows, it's all being done intentionally because that's the only way we can ever be beaten. A lot of countries have learned
From
that a
the inside. Yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah.
They will
Yeah.
never beat us on a battlefield ever. It's not possible. I did well at one point,
At one
but
point, yeah.
now and long ago they realized they have to destroy us from within.
Just like
And
they said at the Captain America movie, which one was that? It wasn't Winter Soldier. It was the third one, Civil
yeah, it's
War.
Civil War.
Yeah, and what was his name? Zelensky. It's like, no, his name wasn't Zelensky. What was his It was the guy. Yo, I forgot. Yo, by the way, movies that I used to watch on repeat, like while I was cleaning the house, I would just throw it on, and now I can't
Isn't it?
remember.
It's crazy. Well, and two now, not to get sidetracked, but it's like
No,
you don't even want to watch them anymore. It's just so
yeah,
like I don't even like. I'm just like I just don't
yeah.
care. They ruined it. That's
Isn't it so sad? But yeah, uh the villain, he said an empire can only be broken from within, and it's so true. I mean, it's so true. They get us at the seams. Oh my gosh, oh my god, you guys can leave a message to it. Yes, oh my god, I have another $10. Thank you, Billy, so much. Yes, I have to get like a thing, like something that I do or
You got to
play
get
every time I get.
some videos and clips and all that.
Right.
You
Oh,
got
it's
to
for
get some
Billy and
Mr.
Cindy. Thank
Nick
you.
F. You got to get a Nick F video playing.
Yeah, I definitely do.
Like
He's
Justin
like,
had.
I know. Where he's like, let's fucking go or something like
Yeah.
that. Like, yeah, that would be perfect. We will be talking about him too. Uh, but yeah, so I love you. So guys, I just wanted to introduce you guys to Billy and Cindy. They are like my aunt and uncle, adopted aunt and uncle from New York. They're really awesome people. So I love you too, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, but so from within. So here's the thing, right? Because let me just say this, and then I think we can go on to the next subject because it's all connected. So we'll somehow bounce back here again. But I'm a realist, okay, and I understand what it takes to have power. Okay, Henry Kissinger just died, and that guy was something else. Like with some of his choices in place to how he bombed places, like wow, like that's something else, but I'm not making excuses, but I wasn't there. So I know that era, like after World War II, there were a lot of lies told to make it, seem like we were the big and bad boys in town. Like, yeah, we, know what I mean? Like we did that, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not saying that the soldiers were weak or anything too. Like, God bless all veterans, dead and alive. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's you're very brave when you enlist in these type of services. But I know how, America was propped up. And then we were like doing things and, producing and everything else. Like, so yeah. And we were shining and we were doing big things. And that's a time where I get that you have to have like your influence in other countries so you can run the show. I'm not mad at any of it. But there was a point where we should have stopped, because after a while you run yourself ragged. And of course, after 9/11, we were always going to go somewhere to do something. There was just no way that we weren't. I can't say like, oh, that was bad and I wish we didn't do. No, I remember how I felt that day. I remember how all Americans felt that day. We wanted blood, right? Okay. 20 years later, though, it's like, why were we there so long? Like, what did we do? Like, and it
Why
was
were
just,
we in Iraq? Yeah, like what did that have to do with anything?
yeah. I mean, when you look back into the situation, it's like they used a lot of propaganda on us for sure. But what I'm saying is, I understand how it became a unanimous decision. After you see something, they had us. They definitely had us. Like, you can't see two buildings just drop down like that. All these Americans died at one time, and then you hear, we're at war. So it's like, yeah, we're at war. Like, yeah, there's nothing else to say. But then after a while, and they were reporting the fact that they started lying, but we still were there.
Yeah.
because I saw a 60-minute video where from like because I was looking at old stuff. I think it was from like 2006. And they were saying like, yeah, they didn't have weapons of mass destruction. We kept telling them that. I mean, broke it down the
Yeah.
lie, how they were like on 60 Minutes. And I'm like, they reported on this, but we still were there. So what are
And no
you?
one was held accountable. No, George Bush, all Colin Powell, all of them, no one was held accountable for
Oh my.
flat out lying to the world about what's going on and why we were there. It had nothing to do with it. And
And
we even knew that the quote unquote 9/11 hijackers were Saudis. Had nothing to
yep.
do. And they were CIA assets. So we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, I
That
know, but
doesn't help us.
we really don't want to. There's a lot of parts of this that what I'm saying. When you really watch the connection, it's like,
Well, and even like you said about World War II, that was the start of the military industrial complex after World War II because they realized
yes,
how profitable it was and how much money they made. And I believe that's, I think it was Eisenhower's speech where he mentioned it. He said, like that's kind of where after World War II was the turning point of things going really, really bad really quickly and
hmm
the start of the UN and the United Nations, and that was the disaster. That's where, if you actually look into it, they kind of call it the Fourth Reich. If you look into it,
mm,
because the German occupation, they just kind of got disseminated across the board. They didn't really get annihilated. They just got spread out. If you look at the general, like look at NASA, look at who created, like who was involved with NASA, who created NASA. UN generals were actually German high officers that were in charge of the United Nations. Why
right,
would you put
right,
you just
right.
beat them and you're going to put them in
Yeah,
charge of the UN? That
how
doesn't make a lot of sense.
it's all
It's a
and
lot of crazy stuff when you look into it.
yeah, and a lot of it is a lot of theater that I don't know. It's like, yeah, why are you working with these people? Like, what are you doing? The greed, everything that went into it. Real quick, I'm gonna tell you a fun fact, but I just want to. Oh my gosh, I can't. It's just, it's just. Thank you,
All
Dan
the
Washington.
love.
199 says, first time super chat. Hallelujah, Yahweh. Thank you so much, Dan. Wow, I can't. It's just too much. I'm so excited. Oh man.
Look
Okay,
who it
Justin
is.
Reloaded is on the chat saying, "What's up, Dan?" Like, this is a party, you guys. Do you guys have your apps and drinks? This is such a fun party right now. Like, I should have got a martini, but no. So, fun fact, right, about World War II. Did you know JFK's father was he was like an ambassador or something in Britain, um, and he was an ambassador. He was something. He was working with people. But he was saying that his main mission, like he made a statement, like, I have a huge mission. Like, I have to make sure the president does not get this country involved in World War II. And they like smeared that man, like to be like a bad guy or something. I think they tried to make up some lie that he was affiliated with the Nazis, but um I think he just knew what would happen to America after World War II. We're like, even if we did do the whole superpower thing after World War II, but again, the connections, that's when they were going to start, was after World War II. And they started. Joe Kennedy, thank you so much. Ambassador to Great Britain. Yeah. And they call it the Kennedy curse. I don't think a lot of people know that John F. Kennedy had an older brother who was like killed in, I think, what happened? His plane blew up or something. Like, he was an air
I don't
fighter.
know.
You didn't know that? Did you know?
Mm-mm. I
I'm
had
shocked
no
because
idea
I thought
about
I was
that.
just telling you like regular stuff. I'm like, I thought you was there like, yup,
No,
I
that
know
one I
that.
didn't know.
Yeah,
I
there
mean,
was mm-hmm.
no, I knew.
That's
Who was it that was that was in Vietnam? Was it? It was a JFK? No.
nah.
Who served on a PT boat? Oh, it was World War II. Duh.
Yeah.
It was World War II. He was on a PT boat, wasn't he? Hang on, now I gotta look this up. I knew a
So look
Kennedy
up,
was on a.
yeah, this done. And then, oh my God, Dan is blessing me, guys. I got $9.99 now, y'all. I can't. I'm gonna quit my job tomorrow and just I on these lovely super chats. Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you. No, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
quit my job tomorrow.
it was JFK was on was in World War II on a PT 109 boat. That's what it
Right, but
was.
look up the older brother. I think his name was Joseph Kennedy. I think he was a junior.
Joe Kennedy Jr.,
Yeah,
aircraft
man. Like,
pilot.
yeah, you got him. You found him.
Yeah, Joseph Kennedy Sr.'s son. Let's see. During World War II, Kennedy was killed in action while serving as a land-based patrol bomber pilot and posthumously awarded the Navy Cross.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that I didn't know.
yeah, something accidentally detonated, and then he accidentally like he died. You
Yeah, it says
know.
Kennedy's death while participating in a top secret mission in
Hmm.
1944 caused his father to transfer his aspirations to his next oldest son, JFK, who followed the
Yep.
path first, planned his older, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
So let me just to bring Billy's dropping off the story for me already because he knows the story. He put me onto it too, actually. But so they call this stuff the Kennedy curse, right? So Joe Kennedy Sr., yes, his aspirations were for his son, his junior, to be president. He had a lot of money, right? Because he did good with like stocks or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like so this was an Irish Catholic who came up with who ended up like getting buku bucks. But they looked at him funny because they looked at the Kennedys like you're new money, you know? And which is funny to hear now because like we're like it's years later. It's like that was new money. But yeah, because he didn't come from some monarchy or like so um anyway, so with all the money he had influence, and he wanted his older son to be, and she said he was a bootlegger too. Yeah, he probably worked with like I think he did work with the Irish mafia. I'm not sure, but either way he was able to come up with money. He wanted his older son to be president, and then he died, and he was really upset about that. But then he transferred the aspirations, like they said, to John F. Kennedy Jr. And so for me, John F. Kennedy Jr., I mean, not Jr., John F. Kennedy was like a real president. Because y'all are doing oh my gosh, I can't take it. Like, I feel like I'm Tim Pool. I'm just seeing everything come up. Like, I'm about to call them all out. But yeah. So John F. Kennedy didn't rely on, you know, outside money of for influential money. He had his own money. And that was a problem, for the powers that be. Let's just put it that way. But that was just a little fun fact I want to give you. But then after John F. Kennedy was assassinated, they had to get R.F. Kennedy because they knew he would be probably doing the same things that his brother was doing. So it's just all fascinating. You guys, I can't take it. Oh my God. My coach is here. He sent me a super sticker, $9.99, Justin Reloaded. Anybody watching, you guys, if you want to get like me and get super chats like me, you need to connect with Justin, okay? Because he's been coaching me, and things have been just getting much better for my YouTube life and just life period. So yeah, and Matt is like, I'm blushing, y'all. I can't take it. Like, it's just too much. Like,
We got to
thanks,
get you a
Matt.
beanie, Kate. We got to get
Yeah.
you a beanie, Casey. A Tim Pool beanie, a super chat beanie, like Justin used to have.
And I see you. I see it. Justin was laughing because I said I feel like Tim Pool. Cause man, they come and they like what? Like that's how Tim Pool Jones be.
Oh god, yeah, his is
Yeah,
crazy.
they be crazy. And then he doesn't even read them all. I remember when I first started watching that show, I sent him a super chat and I was waiting. And then after that, nothing happened. I was like, what? Like that was my $5. Like anyway.
It's crazy.
So,
Yeah, people just throw. It's kind of like a. Hell, I would say it's worse than a stripper. I mean, you're throwing more money at him, and he's just like, yeah, thanks.
How much I have to super chat to get Casey to wear a beanie? I'll wear a beanie. I don't care. I'll make it cute too. Like the next like nighttime live I do, I have a beanie on. Y'all know I'll make it look cute. I'm not gonna look like Tim Pool with his sweaty beanie on.
His Eminem
Ben
beanie.
says that Justin is the best coach. Yes, he is. Very patient man and very smart man. All right, so let me see. What else are we gonna get into? Because I did I wanted to talk about just some other stuff. Let's like get um let's get a little less serious for the moment. And did you hear about Destiny?
I did. I heard about
So
his
wait a minute.
situation.
Let me, so I'm gonna talk about this because it's too much. Like y'all, first
Not
of all,
surprising, but
wait, like um, and like everybody has something to say about it. But I'm just trying to find the part where he talked about it. Like,
I
I
guess
mean,
for anyone
everybody's
out there who doesn't know who this
yeah, thanks.
is, Destiny I guess help me explain this. Isn't he just kind of like a leftist streamer where he's a political commentator? I don't know if he
Yes,
games, but he just throws his leftist opinion out there, and he's pretty much a flying, just a massive leftist. Is basically the best way to explain him. He's not very
yeah, yeah.
smart either. He
That's
tries to
exactly what
be.
he's not smart at all. And it's funny because he was like he's yeah, like you said, he's a political commentator who didn't know who the president Erdogan was of Turkey. Like
Yeah.
this is what you do. You talk about geopolitics, but you don't know. Like he didn't know where Turkey was on the map. Like it was just like all this stuff. I'm like, are you serious? Um. Oh yeah, we got to bring up the house. But wait a
Oh
minute, how
yeah.
come I can't find? Okay, yeah, yeah, because I was. This is a couple of things I need to talk. So this guy Destiny. So I guess this is Destiny, right? That's him, right? Before the blue hair.
Mm-hmm. Before the
Y'all
blue
bear with.
hair.
Okay, yeah, that's
There's the blue
definitely.
hair.
Yeah, like,
What a picture. Oh my
hold up.
God.
And so what you see going on back in now, I haven't seen this clip before this divorce happened. And or 2 years ago, I went to was it 2 years ago? Yeah, it was about 2 years ago. I went to this minds thing that they were doing in New York, and it was people like just talking about having different discussions and debates. Tim Pool had put it on with one of his friends, and Destiny was there, right? And he was talking about now this guy was fully into the COVID narrative, jab everything, okay? And he was talking about it, and I remember he kept looking down. He couldn't even look at the screen, like at the audience. He was just like, well, there's people out here and they say propaganda, and I'm like, who is this person? Because I was like, how come they can't focus on the screen, like like or the audience, like why is he not? He's giving poor eye contact. I mean, was almost looking at the mic, about to eat the microphone. I was like, this is crazy. So I knew from right there, I was like, whoever this person is, they need to go see somebody. They need some medication or some therapy or something. Fast forward, then I figured out, okay, it's this streamer. So this is Destiny right here, looking real sad and simple. Like this is his wife dancing with some other guy. Okay. And because they were doing a live, and then the guy was like, oh, I'm in the mood to dance or something. Like, can I come on, Melina, let's dance? And she's like, yeah, all excited. And he was just like sitting there like, it's Melina time. It's Melina time. It was just dumb.
Just
dumb.
being a sad simp sitting there, and they have for anyone else, like I said, who don't know who this is, I'm pretty sure they had like an open marriage, right?
They
Okay.
absolutely had an open marriage, and I'm about to read the message she said. So they had an open marriage, and they both were bisexual. Like it's just too much. Like
Oh, I didn't know
it's
that. That's oh God. That just makes it worse.
doesn't it make it worse? Like doesn't it almost like it's so much like it makes me feel like I just smell like it makes me feel like there's a smell to them. Like I'm sorry, God forgive me. I know what I'm saying. I don't care.
Yeah, no, kind of
Okay.
like there's like a layer of ick. Like, oh,
Yes,
get
because it's just
yeah,
like
just
people, just a bunch of
yeah.
people. you know? So now he put I'm gonna tell you how this happened because they're already in an open marriage. So it's like what a divorce? What could have possibly nobody cheated on anybody because this is what y'all do. So Destiny, I'll have a small convo when I get back about things. I'm not gonna nuke Melina or anything, but the last 2 months and 2 weeks have been a massive mind f for me. Watching her become obsessed with a toxic, abusive guy. When I visited Sweden last, he gave Mel an ultimatum to divorce me and then threatened to end himself when she didn't do it. Among 20 other abusive, manipulative things he's done, and endlessly make excuses for him, so I'm out. Then he says again, anyway, have fun with movies. Okay, so now I think he was replying to people or something. I don't know. He says, Josh, yeah, me discovering boundaries was the death knell in this relationship. Okay, Sleepy Run, he must be answering again. This proves every point I've ever made. Girls can leave you for a jobless, manipulative losers if they play their cards right. And then the other thing he said, I wanted a massive therapy session to see if I could express myself better and iron out some boundaries. But it's hard for me to ask for anything if I've been a pushover for so many years. And that last sentence, I was like, that's a cry for help. So that's an absolute cry for help. Like, bro. So Autumn Groiper, like, if y'all don't know who Autumn, it's like, I'm the guy she became obsessed with. So for a second, I was like, she became obsessed with Autumn Groiper, but like, nah, she became obsessed with this guy. Okay, this is the guy.
Ugh.
If y'all see it yet, or is it lagging, or are we? You see it?
Yeah, we can see it moving. I can't hear anything though if you're playing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could put it on. I don't think they're really saying anything.
I don't think, yeah, it's really, but you could clearly see this is a very
it actually has no sound. Yeah, total simp guy. And then this picture always does it for me. This is him because he's like a Swedish singer. We'll put a teeny bit of this on.
That's him.
Yeah.
And kids out there think I'm the shit, and then
Okay, so apparently this is his music. Somebody put, this is the dude that F Destiny's wife so good she divorced him. And yeah, this is what it is. This is what they do. And I mean, look at her behavior here, right? Like, this is just another guy.
Give him a little kiss on the cheek.
I think I'll have to put some after. Wait. I'm not okay with it.
Ew, you licked it. You licked somebody's face.
Look at him just running up.
She just licked his face.
That's okay. English, no.
This guy, yeah. So you saw that, right?
Yeah.
So this is this is them. This is what they, and then like, oh man, Justin just dropped off some bad news. Like,
did you see that? Did you see that video that he's talking about? It's floating around.
What video? Can you find it?
That's what I'm looking for now. There was a video where he basically said that he was like, they said, "Are you worried?" He's like, "Well, if I was worried, I would make her sign a prenup," and he was very proud that he didn't. So she apparently has access to, yeah.
This God, like this guy took oh my God. Wow. I don't think I have words. I don't know what else to say. But wow.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. That one clip though, where he's on that the whatever cast, where basically, I don't know the guy that's talking. I think you passed the video. You may have or I saw it while you were scrolling.
Yeah, I saw it. I think it was right here, right?
Yeah, it might even be that clip where he even said about the prenup.
Yeah, let me play it.
God forbid this happens. Will it be fun if this open relationship ends up causing things to fall apart down the line if one of you guys finds yourself in an entanglement, so to speak, with with somebody who you might find a deeper connection with than the other person? Like, if that causes the relationship to fall apart, that probably wouldn't be very fun.
No, it would be horrible, and it would be sad.
Do you guys have a high degree of confidence that your marriage will last for decades?
I mean, I married her without a prenup, so I fucking hope so. Okay, or else this motherfucker's gonna be.
My wife fucks other guys.
God forbid this happens. Will it be fun if this open relationship
let's watch this one.
causing things to fall apart down the line if one of you guys finds yourself in an entanglement, so to speak, with somebody who you might find a deeper connection with than the other person? Like, if that causes the relationship to fall apart, that probably wouldn't be very fun.
No, it would be horrible, and it would be sad.
Do you guys have a high degree of confidence that your marriage will last for decades?
I mean, I married her without a prenup, so I fucking hope so. Okay, or else this motherfucker's gonna be.
My wife fucks other guys.
God forbid this happens. Will it be?
Absolutely deserves everything he gets because you were crazy.
Oh, and this guy called it spot on, right? Because of course that's what happens. I mean,
yeah,
that could 100% happen in this type of situation. You're out doing whatever, you're going to meet other people, you have that connection, or you could have had that connection, and then boom, now she's gone.
Now
And
she's gone.
how much respect is she going to have for him while he's allowing this to happen, right? Like,
Right.
I just can't see any woman having respect for their significant other if they're allowing this and want this. Like, I don't know. He just seems like
No.
a very weak person anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I had to come back to this picture. I mean, just look at his face. I remember watching this clip and I was like, this guy is dying by every second. Like, you want to talk about, like, what is it, death from 1,000 cuts or something, like just bleeding out. You could just see him, but he's just like, oh, she's that.
It's like internally he's dying and the camera needs to like just slowly zoom in on his face as his soul is just getting crushed longer and longer. And then like you need a sad violin playing, you know? Like
that, or that song, you know, the song from the show.
Yeah. Oh, the Curb Your Enthusiasm song. Yeah.
Like,
it is as Harry Toe, that's a great name, points out. Yeah, it's very funny, but it's also sad at the same time. But
it's
you know,
sad. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Good.
Not, like, it's sad because why did you put yourself in that position in the first place? Like, so this is why I go back to the first thing that I was saying when I was starting up this topic. I told you he does not make good eye contact. Like, I can see a person who's depressed on stage. I was like, he needs meds. There's something wrong with this man. And that's the thing. And you could tell he's like, I was a pushover all this time. It takes a very insecure man to know that they were a pushover and say it out loud. You know what I mean? That's the cry for help. So yeah, it's sad in a sense that you should have been working on yourself before you ever got involved with anybody, because now you went and you picked up this girl just to say you had a girl and said, you can do whatever you want, but we're married. Okay. They didn't even live in the same house from what I heard, or like they lived apart from each other. Crazy. But it was just.
Isn't she in like Sweden or something?
Yeah. And it was just to say that he was married. But yeah, she would, because now he probably was thinking like, what's the point in her leaving me? I still let her do whatever she wants to do. So this will last forever. I'm perfectly fine with it. Just to say that I have a girl, you know, she still do whatever she wants. Because if you think about it, really, what's the difference, right? She still left him. That's why you don't do things like this, because the person's not going to care. After a while, you just become baggage to them. She met some creepy loser. And by the way, who this guy, the only reason I'm calling him losers, because like, I'm going to end myself if you don't leave him.
Oh,
what
yeah.
Are you ending yourself for?
I'd have been like, man, that sucks. Well, you shouldn't delete yourself, but hey, you know, if it's your time, it's your time. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
You know?
Like, there's that, right? Like you will not put that on me. Like,
yeah, that is completely 100% that narcissistic type crazy behavior where it's just about control. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, I don't know. If you want to act like a child, then, you know, okay. It's just
right. You're more of a, you know, I had one person say that to me one time. And they were like, no, if this doesn't work out, like or if you don't something, I'm going to end myself, you know? I was like, let me tell you something. Don't ever say, I said, because I don't think you mean it. And you probably think that this is the thing to butter me up and like make me be like, no, oh my God, he would die for me. Like, no, I will be turned off in a hot second, because the next thing I'm going to think is, if you can easily end yourself, that means you can end me. I'm officially afraid of you. Seriously. I've watched too many crime movies. I'm a psych nurse. I know how this thing works out. Don't you ever say that to me again, because it's definitely not going to work. That's like a surefire way for me to just be like, no, I don't need these problems. And I'm not going to feel bad. Like, you're not going to put that on me. Like, because I will say like, well, you have an issue that you need to get fixed, but it's not because of me. So if that's what you decide to do, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and I 100% agreed. I mean, there's a lot of problems that you could pick apart by someone who does that type of behavior, right? That's not normal in any way, shape, or form. They're a danger to themselves. They're a danger to other people. They clearly don't have their emotions in check. They don't have a lot of things in check. So yeah, to use that, to go to that level of trying to manipulate and control somebody is a massive red flag. and it's only going to end in a bad way, whether or not be that, but just a toxic tunnel of shit. Sorry to cuss on your channel, but
no,
yeah,
you're
just
fine. Oh shoot, I forgot. We're gonna no. I'm not monetized for ads anyway, so yeah, you go ahead. You so
well, no, I cuss on mine every now and then, and I still get ads. So
I really don't even care like that hard.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just, isn't it hilarious? Like it's I say hilarious because it's like, what is this world like? This is just too much. So Nick Fuentes was talking about this today. He was like, because when he read, he was like, they both were bisexual. He was like, but this is how AIDS happened.
I had no idea about that part. That's a whole new wrench in the works when it comes to that.
He's like, he sleeps with men and women, and he's like, this is how, they go over there and they get the AIDS and then they bring it back to the, I was like, he's right. And he absolutely
he's
is
not
right.
wrong. He's not wrong.
And it just makes you feel just more icky. Like the whole thing is icky. Like, and then apparently, like, he was proud of this absolute disaster of a marriage. Like, yeah, no, an open marriage. This is great. This is what we do. Like, this is fun. Like,
because he thought he was so bought in to that side of think, right? And he was so sure that he's the type of person that, like, he 100% thinks he's in the right all the time. He's not an open-minded person. He's not any form, like, he thought that everything that he thinks and his entire world thought process is sound. Like, there is no way of, like, nope, how my marriage is perfect. There's no way it could shatter, it could break, nothing. And when you think in absolutes like that in any way, shape, or form, you're in for a rude awakening. Because if anyone who's an adult knows, doesn't matter how secure you are in anything, life will punch you in the face. No matter how, there's nothing guaranteed in life, nothing at all. So when you're thinking like that, you're only setting yourself up for disaster. And as we see this sad little man in the chair here, this is how he sits now at home while everyone makes fun of him on the internet.
And that's it. Like, he is getting dragged all over
but
like,
he deserves it though. And it's not even so much that, like, I don't wish bad for anybody, but the way he treats other people and the way that he personally attacks other people all the time, it's like, dude, this is your karma. This is what you get. And the internet is now going to thoroughly roast you.
They really are. I mean, and then of course, again, Nick Fuentes, he was like, this is what he gets. He was like, because I offered him my friendship and he declined my friendship. I was just rolling at this whole thing. It's just degeneracy for real. It's really disgusting. And let me just show you another piece of degeneracy, because I mean, I just don't understand the world that we live in. Like, what the heck is this? Like,
Lil D.
Stop playing with me.
The person who's gonna my wife is Lil D.
Stop playing with me. Hey, my boy.
All right, bro.
Should we go upstairs right now?
I'm with it. I don't give a
Let's do it.
boy, the things I'm gonna do to you.
Oh, I'm excited.
This is gonna be the night of your life. We're not on camera yet.
this is
Hold
just,
up, my bad.
I mean, just absolutely crazy. Hello?
This person has they have children, don't they?
I think
I'm
so.
pretty sure they have a kid.
I'm sure they do.
Even if they don't, the point is, this is the type of degeneracy, like you just said, that is being pushed to the youth of today, right? Like the youth, and that's why we're propping up all these type of losers to the youth, or to, for example, the Time Person of the Year is, what's her name? That
I'm not that mad about that. It's Taylor Swift. I have the unpopular take.
Well, go ahead. Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, yes, that's a far comparison to this versus Taylor Swift. But the fact is, they realize that this is what people are being led by. This kind of stuff. This that trans type of stuff, right? this is how the world is today, where you have, who was it? Was it what's that? Charleston White? You've heard of him, right?
Yeah.
He's loony. He's out there. He's
But
crazy.
he's serious.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
he's real. Because
he was on that podcast.
Yeah. You saw
And
what he was saying to Cam Newton, right?
That was a great podcast. And him talking about 15-year-olds who are spreading STDs and all that stuff. Like, that's where we are in the world, where this right here, they don't know, you've seen those they're not even undercover videos. They're just doing random street interviews and they're like, name 3 countries, name 3 states for that matter. They can't do it. But they can name everybody in that room. I don't know who these fucking people are. Sorry.
Right.
They don't know who these people are. But, they know every person in the room. They know every rapper in the room. You know what I mean? It's or what's that one who always shakes her butt and you can see half there's cottage cheese.
Is it ice spots? I mean, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, is it the girl down the street? Is it the pregnant one?
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Really
these are the idols. These are the idols that they prop up, right? This is who our youth is looking up to today. And this is what runs. It's sad and it's gross. And I don't know. That's why you have, again, Taylor Swift, Time Person of the Year. Or did you hear also Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is being touted as a potential actual president candidate?
Yeah, I did hear that. And it's all right, guys, I know what I'm doing right now is I have that Charleston White clip and we might have to watch a little bit of it. There is some cursing, but I think it's important to hear what he was saying. But, so, yeah, I know we did it with Trump, guys. We're not just going to keep on doing this, okay? We're not, Trump is a businessman. I know people think oh, he was a television celebrity or whatever. And it's no, that's not all he was. He's a businessman, so he could logistically run the country. But come on, Dwayne, The Rock, I mean, that's what's up. Yay, you're successful, but I have no time for, we are literally involved in 2 different wars. Okay, please, I need adults back in the White House. Okay.
Well, I think it's just kind of common knowledge now that the presidency doesn't really mean anything, because at the end of the day, there's people that, when people get elected, they sit them down and say that it's the men in black. Okay, this is what you're going to say. This is what you're going to do. You are just a puppet and you're a talking head. You are someone to stand at the podium. Other than that, you don't make decisions. We make them for you. And that's the reality of it. And that's why they hated Trump, because he was like, who are you? Go out. No, F you. I'm not doing that.
Right. And to think he could have did a lot more, but he still was railroaded. They still found a way to stop him, as much as he was trying to say nah, I'm not listening to y'all. I'm going to do what I want to do. But they, it's just terrible. It's just really terrible. Let me hold on. Harry Toe, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, this is so fun and amazing. Okay. Harry Toe says, thanks, Justin Reloaded. I didn't know Casey got super chat button. Super stoked. Super. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have to definitely get something a thing. We live in a clown world. Yeah, we do. And Justin said they do. So they do have children, or some sort of child or something.
That's disgusting. Can you imagine being that child?
Do you hear that? Even is this my computer? It's about to shut down.
It might be mine.
Okay. Are them boys getting me? Anyway. So yeah. So this thing, real quick, just to talk about it. It's okay, I'm gonna pimp my wife out. And now this situation is different, because the other one with Destiny, that wife didn't like him at all. She just was there to be there. This girl, and I'm not making any excuses for her behavior either, she's doing this. She acts like she's down with it, but I know how women think. She's so in love with her husband, and this is not a noble thing, that he's able to manipulate her to do this. All right. I'm not making a victim out of her. I have to be careful with my words, because nowadays you say something like that and people will label it grape or something. And then it's let's get the Me Too movement. No, she's an adult. You know better. There's a time to walk away, and that time has passed, right? But a man, with every man that she sleeps with, that her husband put her in the bed with, let me tell you, females, we do like men to be jealous. As much as the feminists tried to say, oh, jealous men are toxic masculine, shut up. Okay. We're not saying that we want a guy to toss us around the room simply because another guy was looking at us. That's crazy,
Yeah.
right? But we do like it when a guy's like, wait a minute, who's that you talking to? Some sort of thing to like, okay, all right, yeah. He
Yeah, to
wants
show like, hey, I care about you and I don't want, we like, this is mine.
Yes.
There's a line, right? You don't want someone who's like possessive and insane, but also
Yeah.
at the same time, you want them to care what you do to show like, oh, you matter to me, and you're not going to just do whatever you want, and I'm not going to be a floor mat,
Right. And women know that a man who really wants a woman is not going to just let them do whatever they want. Unless they're like Destiny needed to be with somebody. So he was so I'm talking about a real, like what's supposed to be a real man, right? They're not just gonna be like, all right, yeah, excuse me. They're gonna say, how come you didn't call me all day? Right? Are you okay? Like what happened to you? So for him to be straight, pimping her out and passing the cooch to everybody else, with every man she sleeps with, it breaks her even more because she knows it's like, dang, he really don't care about me. But she still feels like because she thinks she's loving him, and she feels like she's not gonna leave, right? I mean, he offered her to Andrew Tate, he's just offering her, but she's still there.
Well, and it's all now it's a business. Now it's just monetary gain for them because they have their own show. I mean, this is a TV show that they have.
It is.
It's not just, remember, like they were, they're the adult stars, right? And now they have their own TV shows based on that after that one video that came out a while ago. So now it's monetary gain for them. This is like, oh, we can turn this into a business. Look at how much, because he did this one time. Apparently the backstory is she's an adult star. He was always involved with it in somehow, shape, or form, but she only worked with other women. Then for the first time she worked with a male, it was like this massive black dude, right? So it like broke the internet, and the video went out, and like it was in like the views and everything, everyone talking about it was like through the roof. So then they realized, oh, look at how much money we just made off of this one video, off of this one thing. And then he became viral because he was proud that his wife was doing this, where everyone was like ripping on him, but he just didn't care. He was like, yeah, I am this 4-letter word that starts with C. I don't care. And he embraced it. So now he made a show about it. And people, you know how people are. Most people, today's anyway generation, care about this stuff.
Yeah.
And now look, he's making a ton of money. And
he is.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, still, even though she was and still is an adult star, I know how women are. It still does something to you. Who wants to keep, first of all, doing this? And people can say they love it all they want. They don't. And I've watched enough documentaries with like ex-porn stars who were like, we pretend to like it, but we really don't. Like, that's the reality. Okay. So it's the basic. It is. And then for your husband to be now like, oh, I'm so down with it. Go ahead. That has to make you feel like, damn, there's nobody who wants to keep me to themselves.
Yeah.
But she's doing it. So, hey, whatever. But not really whatever. But
again,
I mean, whatever, because it's not my life. So.
It could be the same fallout as eventually Destiny has. You never know, because
eventually
at the end of the world, at the end of the day, like I said, all these people, they're real human beings at the end of the day. And like you said, every person on the planet wants to feel loved by somebody, or that and if your supposed significant other just doesn't care and is just basically, pimping them out, essentially, it's like, well, it is what it is. Like, what do you care? Like, why would you want to be with that person anymore? So I don't know. People are crazy though. It's
and then too, like, world. Right. And then to be a reality star, it's like, all right, now y'all did this. So the next thing, because you're going to need money again, right? So the next thing, you have to now level up. So what's the next, like, how far do we go? And all of these dopamine hits, like, there's just a lot to think about. Like, even doing YouTube, or, just doing it on a regular level, but you have to sometimes sit back and catch yourself and say, make sure that you're still being true to yourself and not answer. Look at me hype thinking that I'm so because I got super chats now. Like I have to talk to myself and make sure that
no,
seriously,
hey, you're true. It doesn't matter 100 followers or a million. You got to stay genuine.
You have to, because you don't want to just say what the audience wants, because now you're just chasing this feeling, this dopamine hit that's not a good one. It's a superficial one, so it could turn you into something else. This right here is just destruction to me. I mean, I don't know, 5 years from now, like I said, what are y'all going to be doing? I mean, I hope y'all are investing this money in trucking companies and laundromats or something. So when it's all said and done, but that's still, they're never going to be, they wouldn't be okay with that. Like they like all this attention too.
Well, and the bigger problem too with this, I personally don't care what these people do with their lives. They want to ruin it. I don't care, whatever. The problem is though, like we said earlier, is, the youth of today, this type of stuff being so broadly spread out, and so easily accessible, is that it's normalizing this type of behavior, thinking like this is normal. This is not normal. This is not normal. The nuclear family is normal. This is not. Letting mommy go do whatever she wants on the weekend is not normal. That's a recipe for disaster. So
absolute disaster.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, and then they're weird. Like this clip you're looking at, like this guy's like auditioning by showing them his member, and he's all looking like, oh, like it's now. See, I'm a weird person. Like it definitely couldn't work out with me, because I would look at my husband and be like, "You're gay."
Yes, exactly.
Like, I can't do this.
That's the first thing I thought, and I was like, "This guy's got to be." Dancing on the line of, secretly.
Yep.
Well, hey, can I join in? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Because I'm telling you, I'd be like, why are you looking at it? The whole thing would be over. I'd be like, never, I can't do it, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm not the one for this. I can't pretend. I don't know. It's insane. I found the clip. Let me see if it's gonna come up on my so I could share it on my Instagram. I hope they don't have music behind it, because I hate when they do that.
I know, because then you're going to get freaking tagged.
I forgot if they do or don't. Well, y'all, we about to find out. So let me just put share to this tab instead.
The Charleston White. I'll try to find it too here in just a
second. There's no denying that you're standing for and by your people.
Well, here's the thing. When you're addressing evil.
So hold on. First of all, he's hilarious. He's already getting ready. So because I can't start it from the beginning now. But Cam basically was like, your delivery is harsh, We know that you're standing for something, but your delivery is harsh. And for people who don't know, Charleston White, I think he was a rapper too. I think he was in the streets, but then he's done a lot, like to solve crimes and try to get
like
something.
A public advocate and all that stuff. He did a nonprofit. Youth homes and things of that nature. I think, was it based out of Chicago? I want to say. Maybe I might be wrong there.
I feel like he's from down south,
or is it south?
But maybe because his name is Charleston, I immediately go to South Carolina.
But he sounds he doesn't sound like he's from Chicago.
Right. Well, all right. So we have to play. There's going to be a lot of cursing. So bear with us, guys. Okay.
You can't worry about the delivery. When you're looking at the conditions of our community, you can't worry about the evil when you got kids that kill kids and say we smoking on Tuka. See, they wasn't worried about the delivery when these kids in Chicago were talking about smoking on Tuka. Mm-hmm. They weren't worried about the delivery. I ain't got no manners for no slut. I'm gonna put my thumb in her butt. The delivery? I like girls kissing girls where I'm from, and that's on the radio. Girls on girls, that's promoting lesbianism to my daughter as we driving to school. This song they playing with Drake. Y'all worried about the delivery? These niggas talking about killing each other. That nigga Thug said, nigga, I shot at your mama. You don't mention me no more. He really shot that nigga mama. And y'all worried about my delivery? These niggas are confessing to murders on songs. And y'all worried about my delivery? The conditions of black sucking them talking about booty hole. Y'all worried about my delivery? Come on, don't be hypocrites, black people. Y'all can't listen to this music if y'all so caught up in my delivery. Don't do me like that. And the way y'all snap and pop y'all pussy to this music, the way y'all kill and drill to this music, don't trip about my delivery. Hey, yo, Easy, why you wear your pants like that? I wear my pants like that because that's easy access, baby. Easy, why you talk like that? I talk like that to get my point across. Because when I wasn't talking like that, wearing a bow tie, y'all wasn't paying me no attention. And I was going to the Supreme Court, changing laws and legislations in this country. I was working with over 50 U.S. congressional members, from Ted Cruz to Mark Rubio, Senator John Cornyn. I was on the front page of the American Bar Association Journal. I had done a study with News 21, Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. Y'all wasn't paying attention then. So, nigga, I gave y'all what y'all want. A ignorant motherfucking nigga that talk like them rappers. Now y'all listening. Now y'all paying attention, huh? I got y'all attention. Checkmate. Now let me tell y'all what y'all need to hear. We fucked up as a race of people since y'all so caught up into my delivery. 5% of children now are catching HIV from ages 13 to 21. What y'all worried about? 85% of the new chlamydia, all the new cases of teenagers. What y'all so caught up about? Nigga, only 35% of most kids in inner cities can read on or above their grade level. What the fuck are y'all talking about? These kids can't read. Come on, my nigga. So if we gonna be real, let's be real. I'm not bashing the black woman in her BBLs. I'm not bashing the black woman because she wearing eyelashes. I'm not fucking with the sister because she got too many baby daddy. I'm addressing men. Just like we abandoned no justice, no peace for George Floyd. Are we still mad about George Floyd? Are we still mad about police shooting? Is that why we not kneeling no more? Are we still boycotting the NFL? What happened to all these things? What happened? Nigga, because I'm still stuck on Tamir Rice while y'all stuck on my delivery. I'm still mad why ain't now motherfucker tore up the country behind Tamir Rice. Baby Tamir Rice at that. Since we so in tune.
So
great delivery there.
I mean, honestly,
great
like, but right. I mean, like, yeah, because even the end part, like, about him saying tearing up the country for Tamir Rice, the point he's making is that the focus is always lost. It's not about, because somebody will hear that and be like, well, they're gonna riot again. Like, calm down. He's saying that we don't stay on any mission, you know. We just do it for, you know, for clout. That's it.
Or whatever the TV tells me to.
Yep.
Because that's all it is.
And everything he said. But first I was cracking up. He said, y'all was talking to Suki and them, like, so some of it is funny the way how he was breaking it down, but he's there's nothing, I can't argue with anything that he said, because that's what people do. They pay attention to superficial things. Oh, the way you talk, it's just, you know, you don't need to sound like this and da-da-da. We have bigger problems than that, than Charleston White delivery, who, by the way, has been trying to do something to help his community.
And the only reason why they're attacking Charleston White is because he is saying the wrong things that they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
If he was saying the things that they wanted to hear, if he was on that side of the conversation, they'd pay him no mind. They'd be like, yep, you're just another rapper or whatever the case. But because he's saying things to open eyeballs and go, wait a second, that, you know, and he said, that's what, now you're paying attention. Now I'm saying things to get your attention the way that you understand it. And that's why I'm considered controversial.
Yep.
Which is sad that he's got to do it that way.
Yeah, but he's right though. Like, and he's a huge threat to the establishment narrative. Absolutely, because he comes with the swag that for some reason seems to be necessary. I don't know why, but it is, and he's real about it. He's like, I can't change the fact that this is what's going to get people's attention, so I'm going to use it to get their attention to say, wake up. Everything he said is so true. I mean, the kids can't read. The schools are a mess. These kids are erasing each other. These black kids are erasing each other. They're detonating each other. Like, there's not a word big enough for what they're doing. I work in the inside. I've seen a lot of things. So the juvenile like detention center here, that's not what we call it anymore. But anyway, you have 15-year-olds in there with 8 bodies. 8 bodies. And that's changed in like the last 2-3 years, because when I was working at the juvenile detention center, the kids that would come in, they came in for like fighting with knives, not saying that that's normal stuff, but I'm just saying, but they were still kids. Like when they looked at you, they were so kind of almost even shameful when you'd be like, what are you doing here? And then they were like, I was at the wrong place. Like you could tell it was like, oh, I feel
the
bad.
embarrassment and the still,
Yeah. Now they're like, they're murderers. They're like, murder.
Because that is what the culture has turned into. The culture now is that it's street life. It's to a degree that we've never seen before, and the value of life is gone. And a lot of that is from social media. You could see, especially on Twitter, you can watch a crazy video of someone being deleted. I can probably pull up 5 of them right now if I want, just as easy as at my fingertips. And I'm sorry, there's a great, I recommend anybody who's watching or watches this on the replay. There's a great book. It's by, it's called On Killing, the psychological effect of killing in combat. Great book. Really great, like into the psychology of it. And they show you how it's changed over life from, Civil War time to World War I, World War II to now where we were. And at that time, this book was written back in, I think, early 2000s or whatever, where now we're called Generation Kill, where it doesn't affect us. They've trained us with, and I'm not one of these people, but video games and things of that nature we've been desensitized. And it's not horror movies, scary movies, combat movies. The internet is the biggest desensitizer. I mean, we're seeing things now at our fingertips that people, if you showed somebody this back in like 1945, they would vomit. They like, there's stories of that, like where, a soldier had a bayonet another soldier, and he immediately threw up. Like, as a World War II soldier, immediately just started, because he's like, they've never seen anything like that before. They've never experienced anything like that before. Today, that doesn't even affect anybody. You see, it's like, oh, I've seen it 1,000,000 times. I mean, it's crazy.
And I mean, like, even this generation where when something bad is happening to somebody, the first thing people do, they get their phone to tape it.
Because they want to go viral.
And it's like, I think I've heard of people like bleeding out while everybody was like taping them on nobody thought to call 911 or anything. It's just like, that is scary.
It was that crazy video in, I think, over in the UK where a guy got stabbed, remember? I don't know if you know this. He got stabbed. I don't know. There was an altercation and the guy was like bleeding out. Like, the guy was still alive. And the other person there, instead of doing anything to help him, was literally just recording it and recorded him slipping away and gone. Didn't help him. Just like, what is wrong with people?
How disturbing. It's like, first of all, the seeing of somebody bleeding should make you go, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't even happen. It's just, and now you're watching it like, yo, bro, like, you have a phone, you could call 911, you could act like or something. I'm not telling you to get in there and grab a tourniquet or something. Like, I know that maybe people can get freaked out with things like that, but at least use the phone to call 911. Like, you weren't freaked out because you taped it. And
and then upload it.
What happened?
And then upload it to the internet.
And then uploaded it. Yeah. And then what you just said about Generation Kill, like my best friend, she just said, because she's sending me text messages, she's watching, hey, Khadija. And she said, Philly is now Generation Kill. It really is, like, because I know when I was growing up, I remember there was this story about some kid who was like killed for his Jordans when I think we were like 15 and it was like the craziest story to us. We were like, oh my God. Like, they were talking about it on the radio stations. I mean, it stopped. You know what I mean? Like that stop thing that, like, wow, that happened. Now, these kids, let me tell you something. So Philadelphia just banned ski masks. First of all,
Oh,
I don't
saw
even know
that.
how
Yeah.
to unpack all of it, right? They should ban them because y'all don't know how to act. But this is my issue. Y'all don't know how to act so much that the government had to step in and tell you what you can and can't wear. You see how the circle is, but they should ban them because, and I'm not one for government telling me what to put on, but why are you walking around with a ski mask anyway in the street? Why do you pick up this thug life type look, right? But that's not even the worst part of me asking that question. I've talked to inmates who said, because with the mask, because they always have an enemy. There's always an op that they're looking for. Y'all are 15, 16 years old, but there's an enemy that you need to get. So they wear these masks. So if they see somebody like, oh, he looks tall enough, I think that's that guy. Let me shoot him. You hear what I just said? So I'm not sure if it's him. I'm gonna shoot him anyway. Like,
yeah,
what?
They don't care. They don't care. And that's the sad part. Like I said, these people, it's insane. And like you said, yeah, you don't want the government stepping in. I'm the biggest anti-government person in the world. But at the same time, and there's so much to unpack with this, right? Because it's like, well, how do you hold? They won't let law enforcement do what they're supposed to do. Now,
Right,
not
that's
only
it.
that, they have lowered the standards of law enforcement because, they don't want good police officers anymore.
No, they
So
don't.
you have police officers that don't care, and they're not going to care because if they do care, your prosecutors are going to hold you accountable for doing your job anyway. So you're not going to want to do it. And on top of that, where are the parents, right? Like, let's start holding parents accountable for what their children do. Because if they're minors and they're committing crime, parents should be held accountable. Watch how fast people start beating the shit out of their kids like they should.
Watch how fast people start raising their children again. Like, yeah, right. Because you're right. Where are the parents? So even some of these stories, man, that like I'm not gonna be embarrassed because listen, I don't know these people. So I don't take on people's bad behavior simply because what I'm saying, we have the same skin tone. I do not know these crazy people. Those people who act like that, I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be associated with you. There are like my homie said to me, "What's up, Shakir? If you're watching," he said, "Casey, now we know there's black folks and then there's N's, okay? So there's two totally different things." So the problem is there's too many N's. So yeah, you're right. You're right. Now, there was these kids who killed an old man with their bare hands. Their bare hands. This happened, I think, was it this summer or last summer? These kids were like 8, 10, and like 14. You hear these names? Like these numbers. And the old guy saw them out in the streets at like 2 o'clock in the morning or something. First of all, 8-year-old is outside at 2 o'clock in the morning. Where is
my mother would have whooped my ass. My mom would have whooped my.
Add up 8 years old outside at 2 o'clock in the morning. That means that somebody must have kidnapped you because it's just out of this world. You know what I mean? It was bizarre when we were growing. Like, you're 8. You would never think I'm gonna go outside. So this guy said to the kids, poor old man, said to them kids, y'all need to get back. It's too late for y'all to be outside. Then they went after that man with a cone and they killed that man. That poor man, if he should have just walked away and not gave a damn about those savages. And yes, I am going to call them savages because at 8 years old, what makes you think to do something like that? But then the mom gets on because the 14-year-old, one of the, like, she was a girl, 14. The mom gets on the news and she said, "My daughter been through so much. Her dad is going to da, da, da." And I'm looking like, oh, I would be like, I am not going near a camera. I don't want y'all to know that I raised anything that could do something like this. You know what I mean? Like, no, she gets on to make an excuse that the girl's life was so effed up that this is why. This is not a justification for taking you see how there's no accountability. My father would have definitely, like, first of all, it's again bizarre that anybody that I would do something or anybody I know would have did something like that at 14. But if somehow some demon went inside me and I did do something like that, my father would be like, you take her and you put her away from me because that means she could do it to me and nobody's killing me in my sleep. Like that's how he was, I'm not dying for kids. He used to say that to us all the time. I'm not dying or going to jail for kids. Okay.
Yeah. Like my parents were the same way. It's like we're going to raise you the right way. We're going to teach you the right way. But at the end of the day, what you do is your decisions, and your repercussions come with that. So if you make bad mistakes, you're not going to drag me and my life down the drain because you made a bad decision. I've taught you the right thing, and I've shown you the right way. If you choose to be an idiot, well, that's on you. And I agree. And that's the thing. Today, there's no accountability at all. And that's the problem. Even if they go to jail, which is freaking rare at this point, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke in jail. It's a revolving door. And honestly, jail is better than most of these people's lives at home. They have free internet. They have big screen TVs. They can sleep all day. They get 3 meals a day.
Dogs. Okay?
Yeah.
They have a
Cell
pet program.
phones, the tablets. They have
talent shows. iPads, pet program. The dogs. They get dogs. Like, when I heard, I said, wait, what? Movie night? Movie night.
Free
Can you
college.
imagine?
Free
And then-
college.
And then, by the way, these parents are something else. The kid will be in jail, and they'll call up to medical and say, my son said he got a stomach ache, and nobody said, wow. Be like, yo, y'all are insane. I would not be calling up there for, like, my son has a stomach ache. Like, look, all right, I'm not going to sit there and act like I wouldn't visit my child, but I would tell my child, like, you got to take everything that comes with this. Like, I don't know what this is. Because, mom is going to be, like, my dad definitely, he would be like, no, I'm not going to be embarrassed by this kid. I don't know who this kid is. I didn't raise her like this. But I would be like, oh, no, I'm not calling up there just because you didn't get your meds. No,
But see, and that just shows you the mentality of the parents as well. They're in the same boat as their kids. This is the way of life for them as well. They don't see their kids doing anything wrong. It's like, well, this is just the way. This is the way we live, and that's it. And it's sad. And here's the biggest thing, Casey. How do you fix this? How do you fix it?
I know how.
Right?
I do know how to fix it.
A lot of ass whoopings,
Yeah.
or a lot worse than that.
I said,
because I believe if you're taking an innocent person's life, then it is what we see that happen all the time. You'll take a innocent person's life, like that man you were talking about, right? And then the people who are held accountable, what do they get? Maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
And then that's not even, think about it. Sometimes you're doing in prison, it's not day for day. It's you get 1 day in jail counts as 2, depending on the prison that you go to, right? So a 10-year sentence is really 5. And then if you get good behavior, you could be up for probation earlier than that. So a 10-year sentence, and you could be out in 3. Imagine, you know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of things that happen like that. Or you go get your GED if you don't have it. You can get, even if you do have it, I think you could still get it. You can go get college classes, and all those credits that you take is time off of your sentence. So you can go and literally take and kill people, and you could be out in prison. You be out of prison in, like, I don't know, 5 years or less than that. Which is insane.
And again, like you said, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. In there, it's so dirty. Like, for me, I would be skeeved out every second. I wouldn't even know what to do with my life. Like, but they get assimilated very quick because they have programs, they have food, they have everything they need. And so they don't care. And it's like, so, but I can tell you, I can tell you how it got this bad. Because, okay, you're always going to have in society somebody doing something bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
But especially in Philadelphia, it got horrendous. Okay. We used to have a DA named Seth Williams, and he was a black man. And, but he didn't play. Okay. He was prosecuting and getting people in jail. The man, and he was a Democrat. He's still a Democrat. He calls himself one. So, but he was so good, Matt. Like the numbers were low. You know what I mean? Like, he did not play. So examples were made to the point where, of course, black people like, oh, he's just too hard on young black men. Like, no, y'all shouldn't be out there acting up. So he was handing over, you know what I mean? Like punishments. It is what it is. Seth Williams, he must have pissed somebody off because that's all it was. And they got him on some fake money laundering. Believe me, I have seen Republicans come out and say they did that to you on purpose. You know what I'm saying? They knew what they were doing. They set you up. All right. And now his gag order has just ended. So I think he's going to start talking about exactly what happened because he had to go to jail. Okay. And so, of course, when he came out of jail, he was like, maybe I could have been a little nice. Like, I was there like, Seth, like, do not let these people struggle session you into saying,
Don't apologize. Yep.
yeah, like you didn't do anything wrong, because now the murder rate under Larry Krasner, a progressive DA funded by George Soros, these Zionists are just everywhere. Anyway, and like the numbers skyrocketed at one point. Me and my best friend, we used to always like keep track of the number this one year. After that, we stopped doing it because it was just too much. Went all the way up to somewhere near 600. I had predicted it that year. I said, at this rate, if we keep seeing people get ended at this rate, we will hit 650 murders by the end of the year. I think we had gotten to 561. I didn't want to be right about that number in any fashion, but Larry Krasner thinks it's racist to add bail to people. You know what I mean? Like to give you a high amount, for your bail money. So he does no cash, but he does no bail, but he does it in a loophole kind of way. He doesn't have a policy written for it. There's loopholes. All
New York City does the same thing.
Yeah,
to catch and release kind of nonsense.
But they actually say it. But Larry Krasner will act like he's not doing it, but he is doing it. These people that get out all the time, little ankle monitors, all this, so they're not afraid. And then you talk to, so I've asked these inmates, like, are y'all afraid to get in trouble? They said, no, they're not. They know that they're going to get back out. They know how to get back out. Let them out, Larry. That's what they call them. So you don't make examples out of people. You need to make examples. We need law and order back. What we need is law and order back, clean up the streets. I've talked to this cop. He was like, we know where all the gangs are, like all the people who are running the show. He's like, we know where they all are. We could go get them. But they won't be prosecuted. It's like, it's this bad, like it's so sick how it's all how they're connected. If you got rid of all of this, you clean up the streets, and then you fund the programs, you put the money, you actually put the money in the schools instead of putting them in the bureaucratic pockets or putting them in bathrooms for transgender, like that's the type of stuff that they're doing. If you actually put in the
social
school,
equity,
yes. All of that, that stupid SEL class and all of these things, they're not teaching these kids anything. School is boring because you're in this institution-like thing with bars on the window. It looks like a jail. So the mind is already, if we got rid of all that and cleaned it up, then we could get into the programs. But then, we hold the parents accountable. If your kid is 15 and he's out here doing something, you going to jail with them. I bet you'll figure something out. I'm sorry, but that's just kind of how it has to be. Like, because not everybody can move out of the city. We have old people in the city who they don't have anywhere else to go. They should be able to live in safety. My best friend, she sent me this video. This lady, somebody shot her through her door. It's just too much. I'm
and that's
so
the thing.
blessed that I lived in an area where it's not a war zone where I'm at. Thank you. Just like this really small secret place, like basically like I don't want nobody to know about my neighborhood, but it's sad when you see this stuff. It really is.
Well, and this not like these cities popped up yesterday. They've been around for years and decades, and they've all had, like, New York City in the 80s was very dangerous, but then you had the right person come in the 90s and cleaned it up, and so it is possible. I mean, it's never going to be perfect. You're always going to have, but like you said, when people are held accountable and are made examples of what can happen if you do X, Y, Z. You won't want to mess. I remember in the 90s in New York City, you didn't want to mess with the cops. They beat your ass. We did nothing. They stopped us for nothing, and they kicked our asses sometimes. But you know what? I knew not to do anything wrong because I didn't want my ass kicked. Do I think some of them went overboard? Of course they did. And I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying though that there's got to be some type of repercussion for actions. Otherwise, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. And especially if parents aren't there and parents aren't stepping in, that's, unfortunate. It's Papa government. But the reality is of how things are now, as you've said before, it's all by design. They want it this way on purpose.
Yeah.
Think about let's really think about this. Is there any, since Biden's been in charge or whatever, right? Do we all think that no one has been deleted by police inexcusably, right? I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure it's happened 100 times over. But you're not going to see riots in the streets. You're not going to, because no one, it's the the black vote, like we talked about earlier, they're not
Yeah.
needed. You're not needed
Yeah.
anymore. They don't care
Yeah.
anymore. They don't want you to destroy that because that will make what they're doing look bad. It's all
Right.
by design. They want people to be dumbed down. They want people to be stupid. They want people to be unaware of what's going on. They want you to keep killing each other in the streets.
Yep.
They don't want you educated. They want you to rely on the government so that they can have total and complete control, because then they can do whatever they want with you, and you're never, ever going to push back, and you're never going to hold them accountable because you don't even know what the hell you're supposed to be doing to begin with.
Exactly.
So it's just
crazy.
it's crazy.
They want you to. I mean, look at the whole George Floyd thing, which every day of my life I know that was a setup, and I mean, come on, and everything that happened.
His autopsy. I mean, I'm sure you've seen his autopsy,
Right? And I mean, for that moment before we knew how far they would go to set things up, of course, the visual of seeing something and I see where his knee was from the other angle and everything, but the visual of seeing that thing, everybody was like, "Whoa, what the heck?" Like, even I remember Ben Shapiro was like, "Okay, this is bad. Like, this doesn't look good." You know,
prior law enforcement, I was like, "Ooh, that looks rough," right? But then when you see that other angle, you're like, "Oh, that's literally that's textbook." That's textbook how they teach you.
And then the fact that he was in the car and they took him out the car and all the confusion and everything. And I think too, what happened to Chauvin was, I don't think, matter of fact, I don't, like people try to make it like, oh, he woke up that morning like he was going to kill George Floyd. Like, no. But I know what happens when people are around and when they're saying, get your knee off his neck, it make you stand there like, you're not going to tell me what to do. So the whole thing, I see exactly how it happened. Anyway. But the setup after was all set up. So the setup, the whole thing was set up. BLM, all of this, everything they told you this is what to be mad at. And then people did all of this confusion over this. I mean, to the point where I think Portland was on fire for like all summer. I mean, it was insane, the stuff that was going on. So, but they told them to be mad at that. There's this video that I've seen on Twitter of this black man and this woman cop. First of all, it makes me feel like women should not be. If this is how women are acting, like I'm starting to think women shouldn't be cops either, because you could tell she was exerting her power over him.
Oh yeah,
the man was. You saw it, yeah, and I saw
the taser video.
Yes, like what she did to him was so debasing, and he was not resist. Like I know the whole, like, believe me, I'm the one who'd be like, that's resist. I've worked at a psych hospital where I've had to take people down and give them a shot, so I know what resisting feels like. And he was just walking, and then like she did all of that stuff, and then kept going, and she was like, yeah, what you say, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, like, why are you? The man is literally crying. Like, it was almost like creepy to watch, not more than creepy. It just was like really disturbing to watch. Then they added charges onto his, what happened to him. Because there's this video where there's this white guy, he's explaining every bit of what they did wrong, right? I don't know. Where's Black Lives Matter? Where's the hoopla, right?
They don't. First off, he didn't die, so then they don't.
It ain't even just that. They didn't get the orders that this is the time to do the thing. That's all it is.
Yep.
We don't need to look at this in any other logic than that. There was orders for 2020. There's no more orders. That's it.
Yeah, they don't need to disrupt anything. They don't need to distract from other things, right? So obviously they're not going to do that. But that whole video was awful. I mean, and that's a problem that you have with, like I was saying earlier, how they have, kind of killed the law enforcement process by having not so much. Yeah, it's diversity, right? Like having, like, oh, we need so many female cops.
Females,
we need so many females.
Yeah.
And it's like,
no.
That's not how it should be. It should be if you qualify, if you're good enough, you get the job. It should not be this, oh, well, we need so many black or Asian or white or females or whatever. And that's the problem with it. And I've seen, working in law enforcement, there are a lot of bad female cops, a lot, that are hired for the wrong reasons.
I know. Tell me that. I already know. They got something to prove. I already know. Like again, I'm a woman and they think that
Oh,
I'm
that's
not.
exactly what that video was. That video was
Yeah,
exactly 100%.
yeah.
You got a gun, goo. I got you good. And it's like
Yeah,
you are
except she
doing
was, and then he's like, okay, like he's on
like
the,
what's that
and
supposed
she,
to mean? Yeah, and then
like,
she just
yeah,
tased
like,
him. And the best
right.
part is the way she tased him at that point, like that close. That is so. As a taser, I don't know if you know how they operate, how they work, right? So, in order for your body to be completely like locked up and tased, when those prongs come out, you need a far spread for it to affect your whole body. That's how you lock up and fall. When you do it very close like that, and it looked like the cartridge was out, so the prongs probably didn't even come out. They have like little metal tongs at the end when you take the cartridge off, so you could still do just pain compliance. And that's all it was. It was just pain compliance. It was just she basically used it as a stun gun and was just zapping him in the back. And he was already restrained. He wasn't fighting. He wasn't being combative. He was just talking. You could talk. You could say whatever you want.
But then he started crying, and that cry, I felt so bad because I'm like, God, she's debasing him as a man. Like everything, she enjoyed every second. She enjoyed it. Like,
oh yes,
and he was,
oh absolutely.
like, and you're enjoying it while he's already like he's not resisting. It's not like one of those things where somebody make you, because I have seen it in the psych where like, you know what I mean? Like I've seen guys where, the person really gave them like a hard way to go. So now it's like, I got you down. And they're like, kind of like, you're not going anywhere. Like, F you. Like, we're like, okay, guys, okay, that's enough, but this was not that. Like this guy was not doing that. And so there's no Black Lives Matter. But for real, if we wanted to talk about, because there are people who, it's not, oh my God, let's get rid of the police. No, there's always going to be a bad actor who goes too far with something anywhere, in medical, in police, in teaching,
politics.
So yeah. So if we cared, there have been white people who have been unarmed and killed. So it should have been like a broad thing to talk about. Like, what are we doing? Are we doing the psych test appropriately for these cops that are either too scared of their own shadow or they have a power trip? Instead, it became this whole thing, it became nothing but a distraction because nobody cares. Nobody's trying to really do this stuff. And then of course, now they have to lower the standards, because I'll tell you this, they purged out a lot of good cops from a lot of places, I'm sure, because they probably like, I don't want to be involved. If I'm going to be going to jail for doing my job, count me out. I'm out of here. I got to take a jab to do my job. Count me out. I'm out of here. So, and this is what we're seeing happening everywhere, where things aren't working like they used to, because they purged people out of good people out of these institutions or infrastructures.
The worst unarmed shooting that I have ever seen in my entire life is, if you look up, and I do this on your own, Daniel Schaefer. I don't know if you've ever heard of his name before.
I did.
It's so disgusting what happened to him. The video is very hard to watch, and the cop, who literally was like, you could tell was just a nerd who had a power trip, got like no charge. He got charged, but no prison time, no nothing, and he still is drawing his pension from law enforcement. So, there's a lot of problems with law enforcement. It's terrible. Like I said, watching that video, I think it happened in, it's Arizona, I believe. It's so hard to. It's difficult to watch. Like I've watched it a couple times.
I'll look it up.
It's terrible, but I mean, and that's the thing. There's a lot of bad cops out there that, I mean, there's good ones too. Don't get me wrong, but the bad ones like that make you like. That's a lot of the reason why I got out of it. I saw the writing on the wall. I saw what was going on. I was like, I'm not getting held accountable for something stupid. I'm not getting held accountable for an idiot. So there's a story. Here's a quick story of someone I worked with. We were dealing with just a typical drunk, right? Whatever. And we were getting him, cuffing him up, and he was being a little bit combative, and he went to the ground on his own, and just because he was hammered drunk, right? Whatever. And he's talking all kinds of craps. He's screaming, "You pigs," whatever, blah, blah, blah. And we're trying to get his arms behind his back, and he's resisting, but he's not, he's just being drunk. So we're like, "Sir, come on." And then one of the officers that was assisting with this started screaming, "He's got my arm, he's got my arm." So we immediately, thinking, okay, he's in danger, start like, knees and elbows, like, hey, stop, let go, doing pain compliance, basically beating the shit out of him, which you're allowed to do because you're escalating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, he lied. He got mad because the guy was talking shit.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, was talking.
No, you're fine. Stop it.
And and he was just getting aggravated with the way he was, so he lied. And that was my light. I was like, I am not. No, I'm not shooting. So I am not doing this. My life is not going to be ruined because of some moron. So that was like the pinnacle start of like, I got to get out of this. I got to get out of this. I can't do this. And then just seeing the writing on the wall, what's going on, where good officers were getting held accountable for doing their job. And I'm like, nope, no, not me. I'm like, I'm pulling the parachute now while I can. So,
yeah, I'm glad you did. But it's a shame because, again, like I said, they're purging out cops that have integrity, cops that would know, like, whoa, guys, this is too far. Or cops that would say, we're not shutting down this business just because the government told us to shut down, because we need, remember that 2020, right? But and they're replacing them with whatever they can find, which
political
is not good.
hires, people that love the power, people that don't care about your rights. There's tons of YouTube, people on YouTube that do those videos, right, where you have those cops that they don't know the rights themselves, and they'll just, oh, you can't record here. You can't be here. And it's like, yeah, you can. I'm a public place.
Yeah.
Right? Well, give me your ID. I don't need to. Am I under arrest? Am I being held for anything? Doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, it is. You just can't detain me for no reason. You can't. And cops don't know that. There's a lot of cops out there that have no idea. So it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem, and it's just
like I said, it's gonna get worse because, like, even I see it in nursing. There's like a lot of veteran nurses that were great nurses who they weren't yes women, like yes man nurses, like, like, oh, whatever they say goes. Like, no, they would talk back like, this policy is gonna suck for the patient, like would fight for their patient. They're gone. A lot of them are gone. They was like, I'm out of here. 2020 was really that time, like, wait, y'all want me to do what? Take a jet after I finish? I'm out, or just everything. You could tell. And you could tell that you can see it happening. Like, there's places that have gotten rid of good nurses because, again, the talking back. I was one of those. I was at a place where they set me up a certain way, and I'm not making up stories. I'm serious because they did it to other nurses who were the type that had integrity to say, this isn't working the way we're doing it, because they don't want to know how it's working. They want to use algorithms, whatever, But these infrastructures like police, me and my brother were talking about this the other day, because when you look at that border and you see all the men coming in, and my brother was like, they're going to give them jobs as cops and put them in the military. They're certainly going to do it. And I said, the day is going to come where one day some cop is arresting you and they barely speak English.
Yep.
Okay? Can you imagine? So, because my brother was like, yeah, because there was this census guy that came to this house, and some Indian guy come in here asking me all these questions. And he said, my brother was like, he didn't hear him. And so he was like, wait, what'd you say? And the guy was like, I asked you questions. And my brother was like, yo, get that.
I don't know what you're saying, bro. Like, what are you doing?
It's like, because he's like, who the F do you think you're not going to yell? Because my brother was like, this guy can barely speak English and he's yelling at me. And I'm like, but all jokes aside, it's happened. I mean, there was a senator who was saying this week, saying, we might need to like give some of the immigrants a chance at citizenship by putting them in the army. Yeah, so they could turn their guns on us. Yeah, I know what y'all are doing.
Well, and that's, again, like you said, that's who they're going to have voting. That's who they're going to have. Listen, it's like, hey, you want a free ride here? You want to be taken care of? Cool. Well, then you need to do our bidding. And they don't care.
Yeah,
I mean, most of those illegals that come here, right? What do you always see them doing? They're waving their flag from wherever they came from. They don't love this country. They don't care about this. They're here for the free ride. But at the end of the day, they're proud to be from Venezuela or wherever the hell they've scattered from. It's like, well, if you love it, go back.
And here's the thing, and everything is changing. It's the because there was a certain kind of immigrant that would come in back in the day that did love this country. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That was like, oh God, I made it to America. You know, because like my parents, when my dad came in the 60s. He came here legally. I mean, he did finagle a little stuff with his paperwork, but he did come here legally. You know, my dad was the biggest patriot. Like, I mean, he used to be like, and then when he finally got his citizenship, and I was there with him. It was, you know, that memory is just always one that like it's in my heart because I helped him study for the test, and then we went back to Tampa because I used to live in Florida at the time. And then he took the test, you know, he passed, and then they did the ceremony thing, and they gave him the flag. So it was a really nice daddy-daughter moment. My father was a proud citizen. He used to be like, "Oh, I'm American," like he, you know. So and these people who are coming here, they wanted to put into society. They were like, this is the place to make your dreams come true. We're going to work hard. You know, my children are going to get education. I'm going to raise good people. So yeah, I get that part, right? Up until a certain point, because now, first of all, I mean, we can't do it. We've let so many in illegally that we have to me, shut the whole thing down, even legally.
Yep. Yeah. Because I mean,
what are we going to do?
It's not sustainable. We're not structured to house. I mean, eventually it's all going to collapse on itself. And that's going to affect not just them, but all of us as well. And like you just said, like your dad, for example, there was a sense of pride. Yes, I'm sure he's always proud of where he originated from in his country. But at the end of the day, coming here with the American dream, knowing like, hey, I can create a better opportunity for my family and myself, and then taking the hard road to become a citizen, it means more to you because he got it himself. It wasn't like, oh, here you go. No, he did what he needed to do to get his citizenship. I'm sure it took a while, and it was a very hard test and everything to get that. And now that he earned it, it wasn't just a handout. And whenever you know this, anytime you earn anything, like, what did it feel like? I mean, you're monetized. How did that feel?
Right.
It's a lot of hard work, right? You're like, hell yeah, dude. Like, I'm monetized. If you just started a YouTube channel yesterday or tomorrow or whatever, and they just give you monetization, it's like, it kills the allure of it. It kills but when you bust your ass and you work hard and then you finally get that 1,000 and you finally get your watch hours, you get that first super chat, you're like, hell yes, this is the start of something. And it creates pride, and but that's what they're trying to destroy. They want our pride gone. They don't want you loyal to anything. They want you just to be controllable little puppets. And that's unfortunately where we are at. So
and when you see them, when they come, yo man, it's crazy. Like, because like, you know, growing up in your life, like I didn't hear immigration stories, like, because all of my family who came here, they came here legally. But so they didn't cross a border, but you still knew like people didn't want to get caught by immigration. So to see this crowd of people that are just like, oh, right, like there's no nighttime looking around and maybe they're just like, hey guys, we're walking on in. I'm like, yo, what? This is something is planned. This is on purpose. Like, they know what they're doing.
There's videos of the National Guard cutting the vents and opening it up for them. Say, come on in. Just like, you know, that thing that happened in January, right? Like the door. Oh, just, you guys come on in. It's just, go ahead. It's insanity. It's insanity.
It is insanity. This whole thing been planned for so long. But and J6, I do remember the cops saying for them to come in. I remember from that day when I saw them going like this. I remember thinking, boy, the cops must sure love Donald Trump. They're telling these people to go on inside the Capitol. I was like, wow. I was like, everybody's just wants to do this. Because at the time, I didn't realize this was a setup. Because at the time, I was just as angry as everybody that was there. I was going to go to Washington, but my brother, we were supposed to go, and he got this really bad feeling, and he was like, we're not going.
My brother was like, dude, we should go. We should go. That's going to be and I was like,
right.
Nah, I was like, there's no way. I was like, something's off. I just, because you got to remember, he kept talking about that rally and it was being broadcasted everywhere. And I'm just like, that doesn't sound something. I was like, if they're really gonna screw him over, that would be the time to do it. You know what I mean? I was like, this is gonna. I don't know. I was just like, this just is. I just felt like it was something bad. Like I just had that gut feeling, and then I knew. I mean, and then what we saw, I don't even think was really that bad at the end of the day. But I just knew that was going to be something.
There was going to be something. Yeah.
Yeah. And that now and then they turned into the next the newest 9/11 essentially.
Yeah, right.
It's so disgusting.
I hate when they say that. Yeah, I wasn't thinking like that, but my brother was more like, he was like, I think Antifa's going to be there and something really bad is going to happen. He was like, and I'm not trying to go to jail for Antifa. And I was like, all right, we don't have to go. And so when I said we don't have to go, I was thinking like, I'm just going to gas up my little Ford and I'm going. And he was like, and you're not going either. And my brother doesn't yell at me like that. Like we're both adults. So when I heard that in his voice, I was like, all right, fine, I won't go. That man saved my life because they would have got me. They would have got my black ass. Because I wouldn't have went in there. I would have been listening to Trump. Because remember when that happened, Trump was talking at the thing, but it didn't matter. I would have been in Washington. They'd have been like, she bought a Cinnabon in Washington. This black girl there, get her. We don't want black people to know that black people were at the
they were coming to people's houses just because they were in the area. Just you bought a ticket to that day. What were you doing there? What does it matter to you?
Yeah. What are y'all? And to be honest, that's how you know. Even though they set up the situation, but they really are afraid if people really just come together and say enough.
Well, because they know in reality, then I know a lot of people don't know this, unfortunately, but there's more citizens than any federal government agency out there.
Yeah.
If you put enough of them together, you just outnumber them, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a numbers game at that point. So and they know that. That's how. But if you can kill the will of the people, that's how you can have one person control, 1,000 people easily.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, look at some jails, right? Some or prisons. How many prison guards are there at a time, depending on the prison? I know some county jails where you can have a total of 6 guards, if that, sometimes less, and they're controlling 600 inmates.
Right.
6 people. That's
back
crazy.
in the day, the caliber of inmates that are in there now, that's why the jails have actually gotten more dangerous because then now they realize like it's more of us than
it's a lot
different. And they're not allowed to use the kind of force they use. They put a woman here to be like the commissioner of the jails or something for some black woman who loves the inmates, and so God forbid. Anyway, that's a whole nother story again. So it's just insane. It just is. It just really is. It was like, I know we're pretty much coming to the end of this because, it's funny when we all get together, like we really could keep on going. Remember the last time?
It was like 3, almost 4 hours. It was crazy.
And then it was me, you and Justin. Then we started talking about hunting and just eating gator. Like y'all just it just was like a phone call. And I think at the end I was like, well, thanks for coming to our phone conversation.
Thanks for listening to us just BS about freaking life.
We're being like boomers and stuff like that makes me just laugh because this is why I be forgetting how old Justin is because he's just shooting this shit with us, and we're here, we're just all talking regular, But it was fun. I just want to make sure that I touched on everything. I mean, not that I'm gonna bring up some crazy topic this late either, but I'm not even gonna. You know what? Jeez, it's just so much. Sometimes I was supposed to talk about the Hunter Biden thing. You know why I didn't remember talking about the Hunter Biden thing? Because it doesn't even bother me at this point. Because
are you talking about the tax thing?
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. When I say bother me, it doesn't even tickle me to be like, oh, that's right. I got to say something about that because, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, what does it matter at this point? It's like, that should be the type of thing that wakes people up. And like you mentioned earlier, how they were talking about DeSantis, right? The DeSantis people were, Trump this, Trump that. This guy, these are literally the most corrupt individuals in the world. Everybody in the world sees it. And you know what? Nothing happens. Nothing happens. If it was either of us that didn't pay taxes, they would put us under a federal prison.
Oh, absolutely.
And even if it was like a short $100, This guy is a millionaire, doesn't pay a dime, all the other stuff that's come out, and he's never going to be held accountable. And this is is it George Carlton?
Carlin. Yeah, that guy.
Carlin. Yeah. Oh, I loved him from back in the day. Like he said long ago, right? It's a big club. We're just not in it. And we don't get the special privilege.
We don't. And like, I don't even, it's like, you just know, somehow he's going to get off. I mean, even more, they're like, tax evasion and whatever else. This guy has videos that are out of bounds, yo. Like, have you seen the videos that I'm talking about?
Of what? Of
Hunter Biden?
From the laptop you're talking about?
Yeah, like.
Oh, I've seen some of those videos.
With the young bucks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The
Yeah. That alone is like, wow, man, y'all are really controlled. Like, nobody's like, oh shoot, we got the lap. Whoa, wait a minute, what you doing with this? And get him. The fact that it's like, okay, taxes. I don't expect anything there's something in particular I'm looking forward to, by the way. I just want to show you real quick. I don't expect anything to happen with this at all. I just don't. What's gonna happen?
Nothing.
Republicans, and then by the way, that new speaker, Mike Johnson, everybody said, we need a new speaker, whatever, and I'm not going off on what's his name, Matt Gaetz, who started this mess or whatever. I'm just realizing that just about everybody there is the same except for Thomas Massey. Now, Mike Johnson comes, and he before he was speaker, he was saying we have all the evidence against Joe Biden because I seen the video of him saying that. Now that he's speaker, he's like, we can't impeach Joe Biden yet because we have to make sure that we have everything correct. And I'm like, bro, you're not doing it, man. Like, what do you mean? Like, first of all, we already know if you go to impeach Joe Biden, I don't expect Joe Biden to go to jail. I don't expect impeachment of Joe Biden to really do anything to Joe Biden. But what I want is for the news to talk about it, for people to see. Even if the news lies about it, there's still some people who are going to wake up and say, and because they're so broke now, they are going to look and be like, yeah, well, wait a minute, what is going on? People, the fog of like the honeymoon phase of we have a new president and we saved the world from racism, because I guess that's what people thought they were doing when mean tweets are going now. It's all gone now. People are in reality. They're broke. They know that there's wars. The gas prices are up. So if you put Joe Biden's face on the news of impeachment, people might look and be like, well, yeah, what is he doing? Because why am I struggling? Right? They don't even do it. Of course, he's not going to get impeached or taken away. I don't expect it. But you do it anyway to leave the stain on there and on the Democratic Party to talk about something. Because when they did that to Trump, they knew Trump was going to beat that impeachment because he called Ukraine. Like, what was that? They did it so they could say a twice or three time, however many times impeached president. So they could always have that stain on Donald Trump. They knew what they were doing. Why can't the Republicans do the same thing? Y'all been there this whole time. Y'all ain't do nothing. That's crazy. It's just crazy.
Well, and that's also another thing that should be waking people up, that it doesn't matter. It's all the same team. These people are all, not all of them. There's a handful there's a couple in there that are legitimately, I think, trying to do better things. But at the end of the day, they're all blackmailing each other. They're all playing this game. They're all on the same team. They're all saying what they need to say. They're all liars. And that's why all of them, the whole system needs to be ripped out and started over, because it's just all turned into this political fake. It's all fake. It's all, there's no Republican. There's no Democrat. It's literally them against us. That's all it is. And just like you ever heard with celebrity, this is how, in my opinion, I don't know if this is true, but I know that I've heard this before. In order to get to like celebrity status of a certain, you have to drink the Kool-Aid, right? You have to be able to cross certain lines to get to that level. And if you don't, then you're not going to get that. Just like the presidency, right? They sit down and say, okay, cool. We're the guys in black. You're going to listen to what we say. Same thing with these celebrities. But it's the same way in politics. If you're not willing to do X, Y, Z, you're never going to advance your career. Look at Pence, right? Pence, the only way he's ever going to be on the ticket to run was he needed to do what he needed to do back then on January. It's like you need to play ball or your political career is over. And that's what these people don't care, and they're all paid off, and they care about themselves and their money. That's it. That's all it is.
There just needs to be like a flip. That's the other thing I say. I will say in the last 2 months, like there's been moments where I'm just like, I give up on it all, but I don't. But I've met people who are like really America first now, and like full transparency, they would call them the far right.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm talking to anybody who's America first, so I don't care. These people are people who are saying like, yo, we need to get all the influence out of America that has infiltrated America, period. And I'm like, yeah, we do. Because the thing is, we have people with dual citizenship in our cabinets and stuff.
A lot.
Like,
A lot. Like 90% are all
Well,
dual.
yes. To one place too. China.
And it's-
no, it's
yeah.
not China.
And isn't that coincidental, right? What are the odds? How many people, Casey, how many people do you know that have dual citizenship there?
Right. First of all, just that alone.
Just
right?
that you know in general, just as
Yeah.
citizens.
I don't know
let
a
alone-
single person with that too, by the way.
I know. Even when I lived in New York, I was like, I didn't grow up with people that maybe one, maybe. And because I went to in Manhattan when I went to middle school, there was like a more prestigious school, and I was
Okay, so you had like the transfer students or something like that. Like,
yeah, so like
maybe
there was a
like-
couple I could see, like it was Upper East Side, right? And I know like there was a lot of Jewish people that went to that, in that area, and
Okay.
they had money, and they went to that school. It was a public school though, but it was like, okay, I could see a couple of them maybe, but other than that, no one, zero,
No one.
never.
Yeah.
And now 99% of our government has dual citizenship there. Isn't
Yeah.
that funny?
To one place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's not coincidence. Like that's not a a shocker. Like that's all
Whoopsie
by
daisy.
design. Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? And
That's not
I'm
like going to the same grocery store. Like, oh, you shop here too? Like, no, it's
all 100 of us shop.
yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, no.
And I'm because when we had the midterms, and so we had the Senate race here in Pennsylvania, and I tried to run for Senate. So that's why I said I know I'm going to put my foot back in the pond at some point, because I learned a lot. But I didn't get on the ballot because I didn't know anything. They purposely make it like this too, for regular folk not to know exactly how to get on the ballot, and that you got to petition and sign papers and stuff. But so but I looked at the candidates, and the one who I wanted to vote for, I forgot his name too. It's crazy but his name was Sean something. I can't remember, but he dropped out because he had like family issues. So I was like, I don't trust none of these people. I'm just going to do it myself. But it didn't happen. Okay. So Oz got the ticket, to go.
Yeah.
Like he had got the votes for the primary. All right. And then I found out Dr. Oz had dual citizenship with Turkey. And I was like, no. I made a video and everything. Like, we cannot vote for this. Well, this was when he was running in the primary. I was like, no, y'all can't vote for Oz. It just can't be, because I don't want anybody in my government that has dual citizenship anywhere. And I'm like, and my background is Haitian, and I'm saying this,
Mm-hmm.
And then they gave him such a hard time for that, myself included, that he made a video and he was like, I only have it because my mother lives there, and I go back and forth and deal with her medical situations or whatever, but I'm going to give it up. He said, I'm going to give it up. If I win, I'll give it up. And I was like, all right, cool. I did all that just to find out
that 99.9% everyone else, and it's like, well, but that's the thing. I never knew that till recently. I had no idea.
Right. Because now things are coming out because people are asking questions, and think people are doing their research. And it really, like the person who is in charge of our border has dual citizenship. And I'm supposed to see this and be like, no, I don't want to hurt feelings, so I'm not going to bring it up. I got to bring it up.
But that's why exactly. And that's the tactic, right, Casey? We know that by now. That's why they don't want you talking about things, because, oh, well, we don't want to hurt someone's feelings. F your feelings. I don't care about your feelings. If you're offended, then go sit in the corner and you let the adults talk at the table. I don't care what you think. If it's a fact and it's truth and it's going on, it's got to be discussed. Put your feelings aside. Let's hash it out. But see, that's the playbook. They want you to be the bad guy because you hurt somebody's feelings for talking about something that's a little bit rough.
Right. And then they give you the label, which, by the way, I thank you. I'm glad that people have given me this label over and over again for the last 2 months because I'm fully desensitized to it.
Yeah, it's like a badge of honor. It's like, oh, thanks, appreciate it. Oh, here's the fifth one
it's not
today.
that bad. It's not so bad. Okay, so I've done it. I've rise to that occasion. It's not so, because there's something to it. I'm not gonna lie to you, where you're like, dang, I don't really want to, sound this. But when you keep getting these patterns and then you keep getting called as and everything, and you're like, you know what? I don't care. I know my integrity, because I'm the same person who's like abolish the term racism too, because I don't want any labels. I don't want no speech. I don't want regulations. So let me just share this with you. And then this could be the last topic because, it is getting late now. And this topic is going to be controversial when I explain it. But, I know my integrity, and I'm not here for let me be very clear that I don't like presidents of universities. I think they are all liars. Okay. We've seen what universities have done. They've been taken over, and I'm not one for oh, I love college and, no. All right. But when the truth lands where it falls, I'm sorry, I have to speak on it. So we have this thing here today, and it's just a shame. So I'm not going to play her I'm not going to play her clip at all. But this is the president of UPenn, Liz McGill, who everybody's calling for her to be fired, and the other girl, whatever, gay or whatever. Now, again, these two ladies, I would not back them up in anything, because those are the same people who will say you must use pronouns or you must do X, Y, Z. So the problem is, people are like, when you start this words are violence and, we can't be racist type of situation, and you already do speech regulations, they're going to expect you to continue to do it. So now when you try to have some sort of integrity and protect speech, they're looking at you like, what are you doing? You look crazy. Nobody's taking you serious, because you've already spent 99% of your time playing yourself. So this 1%, nobody trusts you on it, okay? They're just adding it to the rest. But me, I'm looking at this and I'm like, no, they did do the right thing at Congress. So what happened was, these ladies, they were asked that question by that woman, is cause for genocide for a group, I'm not going to say the whole thing, is that harassment? What people need to know about that question is that it's a word play, okay? Because what's happening is not called, when you hear calls of genocide, you're thinking that people are running around saying, and the pink people, let's just say, only because, and
all purple people must go. Yes.
Yeah. So that's what you think is, so you would, and off a reflex, be like, yeah, that's horrible. People shouldn't be saying that. But let's be very clear. Even if somebody's running around saying that, they actually are still protected in saying it, as long as they're not acting out on it. Mm-hmm. That's the part that is hard to deal with. But this is the part of the First Amendment that we're supposed to protect. It's supposed to really be for speech you hate. Speech, not plans for murder. Okay.
Yes.
Now, but when these people said that these kids were calling for ending, these kids happen to, I'm not getting into the conflict right now because I don't have 5 hours. Okay. But they happen to see things from the other side of what's happening over there in the Middle East, Or how about if maybe you're Palestinian yourself, you're supposed to love, it doesn't make sense, right? So the fact that they take that position, because I've read the letters, okay? There was nothing on that letter that called for all of this confusion, where Congress and Senate got involved, because this is what they have time to do, all right? They said that they understood the resistance of the purple people, all right? That's not saying we need to end all the pink people, okay? Just because they understand it. And this is what this came from. And now everybody's mad at these. So when these women are like, okay, it depends on the conduct. And now they're trying to have some integrity. It's like, well, now it doesn't matter because of everything else you've done. But I see it. And so conservatives are like, oh, these women are vile, they're horrible. They just hate pink people. They just hate pink people. And I'm like, bro, man, y'all got to stop this right now. We cannot keep making it about that because we are adding more and more regulations to our lives, okay? And you're supposed to be the opposition to that. You're supposed to conserve the Constitution, I thought, right? So Dave Rubin, I'm almost done.
No, you're fine.
Like he puts, this woman is evil, psychopathic, hams supporting devil worship, just having a whole tantrum, right? And so I put, the First Amendment covers speech we hate. Okay.
Oh, he responded.
He responded. You're quite right, which is why the whole hearing was about whether Harvard was holding up their own policies regarding bullying and harassment. And I said, did someone get hurt? He didn't respond back after I asked this question. I said, did someone get hurt? Hold on. Did I miss something? If there's a crowd outside of someone's door trying to break in and get them while calling for endings, then yes, they have to go. Like that library issue. There was a library issue, but it was kids that was like locked in the library. That was a bit much, right? Yeah. I said, but if kids were locked in and people were trying to harm them, those students definitely should be out. That's an attack. But if this is about that letter, I don't call it harassment. Look, I'm a Black woman who grew up in the South for a huge part of my life. I saw and heard things that weren't the greatest, but I knew people had the right to say what they wanted to say, as long as they weren't becoming a danger to themselves and others. It's simply just that simple. He didn't write back after that. Of course, everybody else started writing me back or whatever. But that's the point. Like, that's the point that I'm making is, you know, I've had to talk to myself because I do take a free speech absolution type of, there's just no other way to take it. And I've said to myself, like, the day is going to come, Casey, where you're going to have to stand next to a KKK member and say, yes, they're allowed. They should have their rally. If they want to have their rally, they can have their rally. What are you going to do? And I'm like, I would have to do it because, you know, like protecting this thing, you know, I have no choice. It doesn't matter how bad the stuff they're saying. Because I also look at it on a Christian standpoint. How long until I'm told that reading a Bible verse is hurting somebody's feelings?
Okay. Aren't they already doing that now?
They are already doing that.
That's already happening. This is the slippery slope, right? That's the point. And that's what's ironic about these right-wing people is that now that it's about something that they are in support of, oh, well, now we can't, now we have to limit the type of speech. Right. But when we were ripping on leftists all day long, when it was about BLM, when it was about stuff like that, oh, well, no, we should be able to say whatever we want, whenever we want. But whoa. Now we're talking about something that my employers don't want me to broadcast and I get paid for. Now I have to stand up and take the other side. See, and I'm right there with you. Free speech is like just being an absolutist. I don't agree with what a lot of people say. But at the end of the day, too, I'm not a fragile, broken little person where, you want to say dumb things. You want to have the rally that you're just talking about, and you want to go out there. I don't agree with it. I think you're dumb. I think you're a very closed-minded individual. But as long as you're not hurting anybody, and if that's your way of life, and you want to, whatever. As long as you're not affecting me and hurting me, I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
Right. And I think, too, we don't have those rallies because society has changed. But so people forget that. And so to even bring up the late great Jerry Springer, right? Who, you know, fun guy, whatever. But a lot of people, I think, forget he was mayor of some town somewhere. I think Michigan. Yeah. I don't know. But he was the mayor. And he talked about this. I have to find that video, too, where he said when he was mayor, neo-Nazis came to him, NAZIs, that's what I should have said. They came to him and said, we want to have our parade. And he had to issue a permit. And he was broken about this because his parents, he said, my parents, they were in the Holocaust. Like, so, you know, I kind of felt like I can't do this. Like, I don't know what to do. So, but he said, but I knew that this is America and they have that right. He said, so I was like, he said he was going to talk to his parents about it. He said, and if his parents told him that they didn't want him to do it, he said, I would have resigned and told like the lieutenant mayor, like, you know, you take over and you do it, because he still knew he could not stop them from having their parade. And his parents said to him, we don't like them. Yes, we hate them, but they have a right to speak. This is America. This is why we left that situation, was to come here for freedom. So they have a right to have their parade. So that's the point, right? What happened to everybody? I'm not saying, yeah, let's rally up all the KKK members and make a parade here, but I'm just saying, what happened to everybody? What happened? And so conservatives now, it's like, oh my God. And they're doing this thing where anti-Z is now anti-S. Stop playing with me, okay? Stop it now. Or I see people saying, because people say Christ is king, so they were saying that to like Ben Shapiro for a second. And they're like, oh, no, the way that they're saying that it's anti-S. I said, listen, even if they are trolling him with those 3 words, I am not compromising that at all. We are not going to set the precedent that Christ is king is anti-S. Stop it now. I already foresee where this is going because there's no pushback to it. Okay? Because everybody's afraid. I was calling this stuff out before this conflict. I called this out when Ron DeSantis went all the way to Jerusalem and signed a hate speech law for Florida. Okay? I called it out on Spaces. People thought I was crazy. They said, are you supposed to bless this? It's just insane. I'm not even going to get into the whole spider web of it. I don't want regulations on speech or my liberties, my God-given rights. I'm not a danger to myself and others. I'm allowed to say what I want. Guess what? People are allowed to hate me because I'm Black. Can't change that. There's no regulation that's going to change that. Stop this right now because I know where this is going to go. I've been told that my Christianity was found in anti-Semitism. Can you imagine? Okay, so let's stop this right now. Okay?
Because like you said, at any moment, they could be flipped on its head, and the speech that we're okay with today, well, now it's a problem. And then there's that slippery slope, and it just keeps going and going. And like you brought up earlier, those rallies that they used to have back in the 50s and 40s that were very common, right? Well, that weeded itself out on its own. Why? Because it was society realized that this is wrong, and that they learn, and it's shameful. And people don't want to be shamed by society. There's a few out there that just don't care and will still do it, and that's why they are a small minority now of people. But the reality is a lot of that has gone away because it's shameful. So that's what they're trying to prevent now with the Z's, because they don't want knowledge out there. I feel like if there's more knowledge out there and what they do and how they affect society so much.
And the Z's, and anybody could be a Z, but go ahead.
Exactly. There's not, it's exactly. Thank you for clearing that up.
No, I wasn't doing that for you. It's just like the reminders for somebody who watches later or something like.
Yeah.
I'm down.
But it's like, that's the thing. It's like, they don't want any of that brought to light. And that's the only reason why you would want speech protected in any way, shape, or form of that nature, is because you're trying to withhold some form of truth and that's in my opinion. Maybe that's not correct, but it's because at the end of the day, if it's not true, if someone's going around saying a bunch of garbage about me or talking, oh, okay, cool, enjoy, Godspeed, now. Whatever, you want to talk shit, you want to hate me, whatever, go ahead, I don't care, whatever. Now, if you're slander's obviously different, and there's obvious differences there when we're getting down to the nitty gritty of it. But the point is like you said, if we start picking when we can't say certain things at any moment in time, that could be flipped and be targeted against the person that is wanting speech protected, like the leftists and things of that nature that always push for that stuff. Because at the end of the day, you had right wing trying to do the same thing. It's like, no, well, you have the right to rally. You have the right to do all that stuff. There are obvious limits on some things, but no, I'm 100% in agreement with you where it's insane how they're all about a certain thing until it's something very close to them. And like you said, the point of free speech.
But is it anything else?
And free speech is supposed to be about the stuff that I don't agree with. It's not supposed to be about the stuff that I do agree with. It's about, you could say something that I completely am 100% against. It's like, well, if that's what you think and that's what you want to say, then hey, you have the right to say it because this is our country. We're not gonna, arrest people or restrict people from, because all speech is thought. That's all it is. It's a thought restriction, and you're just not saying it out loud. And people should be able to express themselves with what they want to think and say. So
Yeah, and well, and I mean, just as a last example, that Patriot Act, they used it on a lot of Muslims back in 2008 and stuff. They used it on a lot of them, put them, I mean, they're getting these Muslims out of jail now because they realized they did the most. They had to justify taking away our liberties. The same Patriot Act is how Owen Schroyer went to jail, or Enrique and Sarter. They surveilled these people, then they made up stories. One of these Muslims that they put in jail back in the day after 9/11, they put him in jail for playing paintball in the woods. He was playing paintball. They said, "Oh, you're doing tactical training for jihad." Put these people in jail, and everybody clapped. Yeah, you see, it works. It works. They'll turn it around on you.
Yep.
So it was always for you. Okay, they just needed a little, a puppet. And
they needed a test run. They needed a
Yes.
test run. They figured out, okay, cool. This is how it works. This is how we can run it. Now we can start using it on the U.S. or the U.S. citizens.
Yeah,
and
because
that was the worst thing that ever could have happened for all of us. And the fact that it's still around and not been revoked is insane. But
yeah, because guess what? Like Joe Biden said, the terror has come home.
mhm.
Who's the terror?
Me.
You having this conversation. Like, it's just, oy vey.
Us free thinkers are the terrorists because
Yeah,
we
they
don't-
like them
we-
god darn free thinkers. Like,
Yeah, we
and they're
don't.
so annoying.
Yeah, you wanna like live without government assistance? Oh no,
Yeah.
you can't. No, we have to
Yeah.
put you in a hole.
And I mean, can
Sorry.
you imagine? I mean, like, oh God, like, because I still have to do my Ruby Ridge live. I don't know. I'm sure you know the story about Randy Weaver and what they did to him and everything.
Yeah.
The man wanted to be like left alone. They're like, no. We need to know what you're doing. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Well,
So-
we talked about that, I think, with Justin, where Justin's like, I'm low key. They won't bother me. Government
Yeah,
doesn't
that's right,
care.
yeah.
Government doesn't care who you are. You could be a nobody on the they're the ones who they worry about the most because you are so low key. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, if you're that low key, why are you low key?
Yeah, you're aware. You're too aware. You're not. You know
Yep.
what I mean? You're not brainwashed like the rest of. You need
Yep.
you to be in compliance.
The smart ones are the ones that they worry about. The idiots they
Yeah.
don't care about because they know they're easily to manipulate.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know, man, but it's exciting times, and we're coming into the end of this year, going into the new year. And like we started this stream saying, like it's gonna be a ride. I just know it is. There's just no way it's not. There's just no way it's not. So, and people have no problem starting World War IV, V, and VI just to So I like anything is possible, like anything. So, but we'll be okay, And I definitely want to thank you for coming on to my super chat celebration. I had so much fun with you tonight. Just so exciting, such a good time. It was like a real party. I haven't partied like this in a long time.
Well, thank you for having me as always. Like I said, it's always a blast. It's always a fun time. Again, congratulations on the monetization. Well deserved, well earned, and the sky is the limit. To just keep grinding, keep hustling. You will be growing and blowing up very soon. I know it's going to happen. The more you just put videos out there, it's going to happen. So just don't get discouraged. Just keep on trucking, and you'll probably surpass me way quicker. So just keep doing it. You'll be fine.
Yes, thank you so much. But and I'm glad that I made the connection with you and Justin and stuff, on YouTube and everything. It's been a fun ride. It's definitely been a fun year on YouTube too. I'll tell you, it definitely has been a fun year. And I thank everybody who came on, who was part of the chat, who definitely blessed me. Like I was Tim Pool. I just need to get my beanie for next time.
Gotta get that beanie.
So thank you, everybody, and we'll do this again. And I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Hold on.